Okay, what's going on, people? So, as always, giving this just a second, make sure this whole thing pops up on the YouTube like it's supposed to before I go getting into things and whatnot. So, it looks like that's working. All right, cool. So, that title that you saw, right? Yeah, that's not like one of those clickbait things or whatever. That is truly how I feel, right? All the stuff that goes into that, like all these buying shoes, stocking them up somewhere in your closet or wherever it is to never let them see the light of the day. I just don't get it. That's just a personal thing, right? But we'll get into that in a little bit. Before I go doing all that stuff, though, because I do have some things here, and I know it's kind of customary to start when people show up, but people show up when they feel like showing up, right? So I'm just going to start now. But for the people that do pop in at some point, I do appreciate it. Whenever you happen to arrive, no rush and stay as long as or as briefly as you want. My feelings will not waver. I do appreciate it, but don't get me wrong, I'll be okay. All right, if you gotta go like feed the kids or whatever, go feed the kids. They're probably not gonna feed themselves, and you don't want dead kids because that's frowned on by most of society. Anyways, over April, right? April just ended. So last year, to keep my little unworn shoe numbers down, I made a point of it anyways, to only wear new shoes through the whole month. And I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and do that again because that's a good thing to do. So this past April, which just ended mere days ago, that's what I did. So we're going to go over those, talk about some things. You can throw whatever questions along the way. They don't have to be related to what I'm talking about. If you want to ask about like why I'm such a big fan of hot tamales or something, the candy, not necessarily like the other thing or whatever, go ahead and do it, right? Or you can talk about the shoes that I'm going to be showing off. But, I'm open to whatever. Starting things off with this box right here. This is what kicked off the month, actually. Wore these to WrestleMania. This is the Vapormax 21 in what, black and university gold. I saw these online, and at first I thought this was kind of an orange sort of color, right? Because this looked more orange. But then when I saw them at Champs, was it Champs? At Champs, then I was like, oh, okay, I actually do kind of want these. And so now I have these, right? And my mom has a pair too. Maybe you've seen that picture floating around the old internet in some of my videos. But there's that. So much better than the last year release. If you're looking for a decent casual shoe, that's something to consider when the price drops come around. At retail, I would totally not suggest it. I'd say go with something else, right? Maybe something like this. Because these right here, these Gel Lyte 3s, mild apologies for the noise. These right here, and for one in this particular color, but for two, just in general, this here model, definitely something to consider. I mean, they're like what, $110 on the low end, maybe like 140ish for like some of the collaborational ones, right? But you can't go wrong with them. I mean, it's some older style technology, sure, so it's not going to be like the next Ultra Boost or whatever. But for lightweight breathability and a whole wide assortment of color choices, you can't really beat these right now. I mean, last year, was it last year? The Hirachis were kind of like a pretty good competitor, right? If you can get past the look. I know the Hirachi look isn't for everybody, but these, I feel like this has a wider appeal, like overall, to just like the general populace. What do you guys say? I mean, I am mildly curious, what do you go to for comfortable shoes? That's this is definitely one of mine. Now I can't sit here and act like I've been a huge advocate of the Gel Lyte 3 for the last several years. I just got my first pair at the end of 2020. But I've got what, 13, 14 of them now? And I gotta say, they're pretty all right. I've got like different textures, different materials, all that crap. And they're all winners. What the Sneakers? Now that's a name I haven't seen in a while. What is going on, man? Hope things are going well for you. I truly do. Gonna have to hang out on one of these lives sometime or whatever, man. Catch up. I mean, I took a bit of a break from all this stuff for a while, but I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things more or less now. But what have you been up to? How's the Louisiana life treating you? And Sean, I still need a pair of Asics, dude. I mean, there's a lot of them to choose from. I can only speak for like 3 or 4 models, honestly. But from what I've seen, the other models that I haven't tried out yet or whatever, they seem to be doing pretty well in the eyes of a lot of people. And Hit Squad Production says, first 5 have been able to catch, but love the channel. I appreciate that. I did set this for 6, and I know it's not 6 yet, but if I did start at 6, it would have been me just kind of sitting here doing nothing and waiting for it to be 6 o'clock, right? And I am not good at not having something to do, like start to go a little crazy, you know? So I figured, let me just start this now. That way it's going. And if people were scheduling themselves to come in here at 6, they still can. I'll still be here, right? It's going to take a little longer than 13 minutes. So I'll see some people at 6 perhaps, but some people who, you know, happen to have free time now, we can hang out, right? But still, thank you. This is the Marsh 350, right? This was one of those StockX purchases. That little thing probably in here somewhere. Is this, you know, StockX things, right? Yeah, it's one of those ones where I put in a bid for something and then I forgot. And then it's like, hey, your order went through. And I'm like, what order are you talking about? But yeah, these right here, I did a whole thing comparing these to like a bunch of other 350s just to see if they were real or fake or whatever, you know. I've settled personally on the fact that they're likely real. I mean, I'm not some like shoe doctor guy. I didn't go to school for this. I don't know anything about them like deep into it, right? But what I can do is compare these to the millions of other pairs that I have and see where the similarities are and whatnot. And the thing that I noticed in that is that a lot of 350s are like very different and have also some similarities too. Because certain things that I looked for on this, and I was like, oh wait, these are different than what was it, the Desert Sages, and but then I pulled out like the Earth or something, and it's like, oh well, this one is done like that, and both of those came from like Adidas and Finish Line respectively. So I'm like, okay, but yeah. So long story short, if you're curious about like not fact checking, what do they call it, legit checking shoes or whatever, just do what makes sense to you. And as long as your conscience feels all right at the end of the day, just go with that. Because unless you take it straight to Adidas or something, you may just never know. Because apparently some people are pretty good at what they do nowadays. Most definitely, bro. I've been working pretty much, but you know, can just hit me. All right, yeah, sounds good. I'll have to do that. It says, what's that? Wish I kept a few of my 350s, especially the breads. Yeah, you know, I know a lot of people kind of fall in and out of favor with the 350s, or the 350 falls in and out of favor with them. For me, I totally get it because it's an easy thing to kind of look at and like, yeah, I think I'm good on these. But then all it takes is like the right thought, the right other pair to release to make you want to have something again. And then I mean, you can get them again, right? It's just that cost. Because I'm a retail kind of guy. So like what I can't get for retail, I just don't get. And so luckily, like for whatever reason, if you've seen enough of my crap, like you know that I have some pretty decent luck somehow with like the Adidas side of things. The Nike side of things, but to be fair, I tend to like a lot of Adidas shoes a little bit more anyway, overall, considering all the models. So, you know, it's a toss up in how to feel about that, you know, until I start missing out on Air Max 1s or something, then maybe we'll have a problem. But, you know, I'll deal with that later. This is the Nimbus 23, I think, right? Yeah, the Nimbus 23, right? I do a lot of running and stuff, you know. So this month, like I said, sticking with all new shoes. So I had 3 pairs of Asics shoes, which you'll see throughout these stacks and whatnot. And this one right here, these are nice. They're one of the pricey-ish sort of Asics, right? Because I think this model was 150. I think the 24 is 160. I think, you know, some of that inflation kicked in. But these versus the Kayanos, which is kind of like two of the ones that are, they don't compete against each other. It's just that one is made for one like little stiffer of a ride. The other one's a little more cushiony of a ride. So it kind of depends on what you want, right? But these were really nice, really nice. Overall, I did prefer the Kayanos because these were, I don't know, like that whole plushness, I didn't always care for it. It's cool for walking though. Like if you're just walking around, solid. But if you're gonna run, then I kind of prefer the Kayanos, right? It's just the way that worked. But you know, you'll see those in a few minutes or something. These are in order of actually how I wore them through the month, which is, I don't know. I had some free time and I figured, you know, let's arrange these. So that's what I did. Let's see. Let's catch up on some comments. Let's do that. You actually inspired me. I saw your video on the Air Max Plus Cosmic Clay, and it's Cosmic Clay. Oh yeah, that was a good one. That I'm not saying like the video was a good one. I mean, the video is probably hit and miss. It's like whatever. But yeah, those I've actually seen a couple of people wearing those. So I guess they came back around because when I bought them, it wasn't hard to get them, but they sold out like in the first few days or something. But that was just through Nike. But lately, I've been seeing them at like the Foot Locker, Foot Action. Well, not Foot Action, but other sites. So that's cool that they're like widely available because shoes like that should be widely available. The Air Max Plus, every Air Max should be widely available. Let's see, Adidas definitely. Yeah, man. Like I don't know what it is, and it's not even just like Adidas themselves. Like the raffles from these overseas sites is where I get a lot of, but still Adidas shoes, right? So I mean, like the Flaming Moes, that I forget where I got those. Like a lot of my Yeezys came from various European sites. I think that's how I got the Midwest Kids ones, but those were easy to get apparently later. And yeah, so and then just like I said, just confirmed same sort of thing. I sold my prize for 800. Jesus Christ. It was so off on sizing. I want to have the same size box. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a fair amount though. So at least you got some good money out of it. It's crazy how much some people pay for some of these shoes. Let's see, just got a pair of the Band Highs, my favorite shoe ever. Those like the normal style one, because like they had that one that was like the 85 where it's like a different shape. But I'm guessing you're talking about like the normal Jordan 1 high though. That's what I'm assuming, right? The OG or okay, he's asking. And my car says, "Yo, what up? Hello to you too." Not even a sneer, but love your videos. I'm also not one, and maybe that's kind of again. I know I have a lot of shoes and kind of puts off a certain vibe at times, but at the end of the day, what's going on in here is more of a casual sort of approach, which is why when I'm doing my reviews, it's like I talk about them as if I'm just some casual consumer that walked into a Hibbett and saw these and was like, that's a weird looking thing, right? Don't you guys think this is weird? And then I talk to the video camera about it. So I think that kind of helps with some of the people that watch the things, because it also means you'll get a slightly different perspective, which is a good thing because nothing against anybody else, but the good thing about there being a million people talking about a lot of the same stuff is that you can get those different perspectives and then eventually just kind of walk away with your own, right? But thank you for the comment, compliment and comment. Mr. Chappelle, what is going on? And that grips, same. I'm not sure what he's laughing at, but okay. Let's see. Like the patent. That's supposed to be patent. Get wary because of how they crease over time. Yeah. I'm the same way when it comes to like the patent leather things because like those initial pictures often look pretty nice. Like those, I think they were called the Blue Chill. If correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like a light blue sort of color, not quite a university blue. It was almost like even lighter than that, and black, I think. And they were within the last 2 or 3 years, something like that. But those are pretty nice. But again, I just felt like as soon as you wear them, it's going to be just terrible. Let's see. Okay, get through here. It's no. Okay, appreciate that. Yeah, we all got to have something to sell people on, right? Like it's I can't sell my shoe knowledge because I don't have it. Like when I watch Jeezy's channel, it's like he'll break down all kinds of random facts about things, and it's like interesting. I can't do that. I can just hope that I don't bore you over the course of 12 to 15 minutes because my videos can run a little long, especially the unboxings because I sit there and tell random stories while I'm opening boxes. It helps pass the time. I wear the 2015 low more than the highs. Need them stars intact. I'm more of a low fan myself. Let's see. Okay. So people talking back and forth amongst each other. And You're right, the blue chews. Okay, yeah. The blue chews were nice. It just wasn't meant to be, you know. But like I said, when I miss out on stuff, I just say, whatever, because something is going to come along next month that I'll want. That's always the case. And there's always some sort of moment where I open a box of something and then I remember some other thing that I have, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about those. Like I saw McFly do a post about it was an old Yeezy, well, 2019. It was what was it, like the Cloud White. And I completely forgot that even exists, you know? Anyway, let me get these out of my hand. This is the handcrafted or craft Jordan 1. I've seen it written both ways. Got these from Finish Line. They did one of those things where they send you an email and they're like, hey, you can buy these right now. And I didn't want them really, but I did want the points and the good karma that comes with it from buying from Finish Line in hopes that they would help me buy something else later, right? So that's what happened. And I will say the one thing I wasn't thrilled about was this here lacing system here. Well, not lacing system, but how they have that pink thing going on. So yeah, I spent a decent amount of time when I was lacing these up for the video, making sure that they were like laced exactly the same. Like there's a lot of work that went into that 1.5 minutes of an on foot clip, right? Something like that. Well, probably like close to like 2 minutes. It's usually about 1.5 minutes for like the on feet portion, and then there's like 30-25 seconds of me like swooping the camera around. That's generally like the breakdown for that. Either way, let's go ahead, get these back into this here box so we can move on to like whatever the next shoe up is. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I mean, it's cool that they tried something different. It's just different isn't always like something that I like, just because it's different. I just like that they're not always doing the same thing, You can't keep going back to the same well or something. What's a good website to get nice shoes on sale? To the UK, I can't guarantee like where all they ship, but sneakers and stuff, all like sneakers in stuff, right? They often have some pretty good sales, and I'm feeling like they ship to the UK. What's that other one? Concepts, CNCPTS. Again, I don't know if they ship to the UK or not, but they often have some old stuff on sale. Those are the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head, though, because I haven't really. Usually, when I'm browsing like for sales, I'll just go to like the Nike clearance section, or I used to go to like Foot Locker's clearance section a lot, but their website is not great. It's like you click on whatever size you're looking for, then they show you a shoe, and you click on it, and it's like we have size 8 and we have size 15. And I'm like, I said 9.5. Like, what are you doing to me here? But I'll leave that on the screen for a minute. Hopefully somebody else will see it and actually give you a good answer. I got most of the old G colorways outside Chicago. Those for work. Yeah, see, I just feel weird in highs often because I'm so used to wearing like running shoes that anything that's high just, I don't know, it's just odd feeling to me. I feel like I don't look right. I feel like I'm walking all weird. I don't know. And I have never worn a high shoe that's as comfortable as any of my like comfortable low shoes either, right? So there's also like some sort of mental thing going on where I know I'm about to be uncomfortable for the most part during the day. I will say foam posits are like, those are pretty comfortable. And I guess those are considered a high, right? It's not that high. Or maybe I think it's just the cut of it. But yeah, I guess foam posits are high, right? Let's see. The handcraft are unique. That would definitely make them clean. More of a fall. Yeah, the colors are definitely fall colors. I like them better. I did not like the biohacks. That tongue tag sort of latest. But the leather, you load the leather. Okay. What would recommend all black sneak for all day wear? I always want to say the React Vision, but again, that's kind of fallen by the wayside. If you can find a pair of these in all black, this would be something to go for. This is an Asics Gel Lyte 3. This is the tourmaline from the Daylight pack, Daylyte, if I recall correctly. I want to say there's at least 3 models in that pack. There might have been 4, but either way, I only wanted this one, so this is the only one that I got. But if this webcam wasn't terrible, these would look a lot better. If you scroll through the video or something, you'll see what I'm talking about, or just look up pictures online. That's probably easier than looking through one of my videos or whatever. But these definitely look a lot better in person or in good pictures than they do from what I'm seeing on this here screen. Looks like there's a little too much blue in the picture. Like overall, it's like a blue tint to the picture for some reason, and I don't like it. I was gonna use like the Logitech capture thing and go through that, then that shows up on the camera, but I just didn't feel like messing around with all that stuff in the moment. But yeah, if you can find a pair, the React Vision also, if you can find a pair, or now that I think about it, the React Infinity Run Flyknit 2, because the 3 is coming up soon, so the 2 should be on some pretty deep discounts. So that would also be something to consider. It's a running shoe, but it's not like completely tuned like a lot of running shoes to where it's like weird to walk around in them as just normal wear. So that's something to consider as well. Hey, Bobby Sneaker World, look at that. I feel like I'm responsible for your Asics collection. You had a hand in it too. I can't say you didn't. I mean, I'm not going to blame you for all the baker's dozen of these that I have, or however many it is nowadays. But, you did definitely get me onto the very first Asics for sure. And then after that, after the floodgates were open, it was just all downhill from there, or uphill, whatever. But yeah, Bobby Sneaker World, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and check him out over on the YouTube, which I know you have access to because you're on it right now. Now, Everyday Hirachi. Yeah, the Hirachi too. I don't know how I forgot about that. Also, the Presto, that's a good one. I've seen some black Prestos lately. I've only seen black, white, and red for the most part, separate colors, those 3. Let's see. Good price too, not out of stock. Yeah. Mid-budget Shadow 2.0 or no budget OG Shadows. What? Oh, okay. It's didn't read that right. Oh, he says he can't stand Hirachis. All right. Yeah, a lot of people say that. But again, to me, in that range of things, if you're not a Hirachi fan, maybe try the Presto, because they're both fairly similar but have a very different look. The Presto look, seems to be fine for a lot of people. But yeah, there are a lot of plain black shoes, that you can pick from, which is good. I mean, finding them, finding the black ones or whatever in your size, probably easier right now than maybe a while ago, because now I feel like people are probably gearing towards the white shoes and stuff. So you might be better off than you would have been a few months ago. This is the Krusty Burger ZX 10,000. 10,000, yeah. These I picked up from, it was kind of a restock from what they said. Let's see, 821. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because what Adidas had their initial sale, and then that went, which went well for a lot of people. It really did. But then they brought them back, and it was like, hey, put your order in, and go ahead and get a pair. And I was out walking through the park with my parents because they were up here, and we were breaking in some trail shoes, and I couldn't get the site to sell them to me. But then when I got home, I saw that it was a 48-hour window. I'm like, oh, cool. So I was able to get my order in, and now here we are. I'd wanted these before, but I think it might have just been bad timing, because I don't think I tried for them the first time around. But then when they came back, I was like, okay, now we're doing this. And I'm glad I did, because these are really nice. I'm not going to say it's my favorite Simpsons Adidas shoe, because that would be the Flaming Moe's, but it's not like it's leaps and bounds above these. These are just, to me, not the preferred one. You know what I'm saying? But I would be fine if I could only have either one. I wouldn't even care. It's just since I'm doing that quick comparison. Yeah, I do have a favorite. Let's see what's going on here. Where did I leave off? Okay, there's the Hirachis thing. Well before its time. We'll get those 350s. Let's see, what is a shoe you would recommend that I can wear as every day for the next 5 years with any outfit occasion? What? Like a shoe for the next 5 years? Jesus Christ, for 5 years? Um, I honestly, because somebody asked me like a question a while ago once about along those same lines. When it comes to like durability, like I honestly like I'd say foam posits, right? Just because they're known to be like a durable thing. It's not really like something that goes with everything though. But I, I don't know how well anything else stands up. I will say like my Ultra Boosts have been doing pretty well, because there's a time period where before I had like a bunch of shoes, I was wearing some of those a lot, and they still look pretty good. But the knit overall, if you're gonna wear only that for 5 years, I don't know, man. That's a that's one that would take some thinking. Is because it's gonna come down to like the materials, because you don't want something that's too light, because then I feel like it's gonna wear away. But you sure you really need 5 years out of it? Here's this. This is the Air Safari, right? Wait, this is Air Safari? Yeah. Air Safari, right? I have two pairs of these, this pair and then one that's more of like a green tennis ball sort of color. So I'm a big fan of the safari print sort of thing. So that's the only reason I bought these. I had no idea what this model was or what I was getting into. It's not really for everybody, but I do like it. And they were super cheap because, it's not a thing that everybody's into. I tried to get some Safari print Air Max 1s last week, but, when they were doing that Nike by You thing, unfortunately, the timing was bad, and I was in a movie theater watching a Liam Neeson movie that was not worth my time completely, but wasn't terrible. So I missed out on that, right? But as I said before, missing out on a pair of shoes is missing out on a pair of shoes. I'll just get a new one at some other point. Let's see, the Krusty Burgers. Right. Yeah, like they're probably not even that expensive, the Krusty Burgers, because like because there were a lot of them, right? And they were like probably 120. That sounds about right for a shoe like that. Maybe 140. Because I think my Aqua ZX 8000s were like 120, and those are like better, material wise, and they've got that collaboration thing. So those are probably a little bit more. But yeah, they probably wouldn't be terrible. Let's see. Okay, Jordan 1. Yeah, well, I see people wearing some old shoes often. So, and one of those is the Jordan 1. So there might be something to that. Appreciated. Let's see, deadstock collections are. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, why buy a bunch of stuff and not do anything with it? Now, I get like, if you buy something and you're like, oh man, like I'm gonna wear these to like this thing later in the year. It's gonna be a big event that like, and it's gonna make sense to wear these. I want to like keep them fresh until that. Sure, whatever. But like when I see people that just like I'll see it in like sneaker battles all the time where everything somebody pulls out is still got like the little lace hanging on the side and like, the don't steal sticker or something or whatever it is. And I'm like, what? Like, so do you just have these for a rainy day just so you can have something to look at because you're inside on a rainy day? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've got some shoes that are unworn, right? Which is why I do stuff like this. But a lot of it for me comes down to just, to some extent, forgetting about stuff, right? There is a large part of that. And the other part is just like, there's only so many days in a year and a week, whatever. So I only got the 2 feet, right? So it's just kind of hard to get to stuff sometimes. Let's see. All right, how about 3 years? Okay, see, now we're talking. No, I'm kidding. But seriously though, like I've also seen some people wearing like certain like Air Max like 90s and ones, things of that nature that look like they're very old. So, but my hesitancy there, I don't know if that's a word or not, is that it has an air bubble in it, and so there's always the risk of you possibly popping said air bubble. So in some ways, I'm a little hesitant to like suggest those. But I'm gonna go back to the Gel Lyte 3 because I feel like I feel like one of those might do it for you. This is the Kayano. I was talking about these a moment ago, right? From the one of the Asics running shoes that I tested out this month, and this one, these were like super nice. I wanted to do a performance review, but like when I bought the 3 pairs of these Asics shoes, it's been like a year, and I just now got around to wearing them because I kind of forgot that they were around, which, like I said, is a thing that I do. So now I'm just wearing them, and I'll cover these to some extent whenever I get like the next version. So this is the 27. The 28 came out like a month or two ago. Probably get some of those, and then have an idea of what I'm getting into. But this one, not a huge fan of the look of the 3 that I wore. This is like the worst looking one, but it was my favorite one to actually wear. So they have that going for them. But either way, yeah, the Kayano, it'll set you back $160 if you buy one of the 28s. If you can still find any of the 27s, don't expect to pay more than $150 because that's the retail price, but probably close to $100 since they're probably just trying to push those out the door. That's what I would imagine. But excellent stuff for just standard wear, but even better if you're actually a runner. So there is that. Let's see. All black foams would hold together for a long time, and black goes with everything. Yeah. The only thing to me is just like the foams just don't look right with everything. I mean, so I guess it comes down to how do you dress? That's a thing to consider. So that was like I said, I broke out a new pair of running shoes at the beginning of each week so that I could run in them through the week. So now we're on the week 3 of April, I guess, whatever week Easter was, because Easter shoes. So let's get these things on out of here. Now this right here, this is a one that's hard to call, right? Because it's not terrible, right? But it's not something that everybody can get behind. I thought maybe this was going to be like just your standard like white shoe, which kind of made me like, I'm not really a big white shoe kind of guy. And yeah, you see, I definitely wore these recently. Yeah, I'm not a huge white shoe guy, but then I got it and I was like, okay, it's got some sort of like shimmer thing going on here, right? So that's cool. I mean, even on the tongue and all that stuff, it's very nice, as far as like what they did to it. It's just, it's weird in some ways. And it's a 12 low, which is one of the worst looking low variations of a shoe that should be a high. I don't know how you guys feel, but like the 12 low, I mean, I don't know, something about it, it's just not for me as far as like a favorite. And I like the 12 a lot. Like, for those of you who like watch my stuff and like listen to my ramblings, that like the 12 is my favorite Jordan, right? So I like them over all the other ones, however many other ones there may be. But something about that low, but I'd have to see more lows just to really see for sure. But I would say that probably the 11 low is my favorite, which is something I think I've worn an 11 low one time, right? Yeah, I have one pair and I've worn it one time, but I liked it. I did. So this is a shoe that I was talking about like a little while ago. This right here is the React Vision in some kind of photo blue color, I think. What does it say on the side? Yeah, photo blue. All right. So these right here, I was talking about the React Visions because when it comes to comfort, especially like if you're going to be working out or something, these are a good one. And one of the things I like is that can't quite see it down on the inside there, but they do kind of have some little lockdown on the side where like the tongue is strapped down to the bottom of the shoe. So that way it gives you a little bit of stability in there, which is the thing that I dislike about 350s. They're just, your feet are just hanging on for dear life. It's like wearing a React Presto, right? You're just hoping that things go okay. But this right here, these are one of my favorite overall models. It just sucks that they didn't really catch on enough to really stick around. So I picked up 2 pair of them, while they were around, and there are some options for the Nike by You thing, but I don't really care for those options. So I'm wondering, like, do I buy one anyway, or do I just wait and hope that they come back eventually? But yeah, during that whole React phase Nike was going through back in 2019, somewhat into 2020, yeah, where they were trying it out on a bunch of different things. This was one of them, and I gotta say, it worked out all right. So it's very similar to like the React Element 87s, and I guess to some extent the 55s, as far as build and all that goes. So it looks familiar. Maybe that's why. But yeah, I think this was the better of those three. And I did some kind of React comparison video with these, and I think the React Presto or the React Presto Flyknit, one of them, and some other things. Yeah, long story short, this was the winner. But it's all personal preference, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ask another person, they may feel like the exact opposite way. Let's see what's going on in these comments, though. Let's see. Hey, it's Logan J. What is going on? I was just catching up on your videos last night. I tell you, like, I was watching them back to back. I do watch stuff at 2x, like, because I also recommend watching stuff at 2x a lot, because that's how I can get through stuff, Because if I am going through my feed, I start at the top, So like ACS Sneakers, because he's at the top, right? And then I watch a whole bunch of his stuff. And then I move on to the next person, usually like a day or so later. So yeah, I was watching all of his things. Good dude, old Logan J here. Go check him out. He's on the internet, on YouTube specifically. And to some extent on Instagram, but mostly the YouTube, which is where you are right now. So you're not too far from him. Moving right along. Let's see, I trashed my gray Yeezy phones on it. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Well, pure platinum phones. Let's see. I think you got the navy with gum. Yeah, that's the one. The navy 11s with the gum bottom from 2017. I want to say it was 2017 because 2018 sounds like it's too late. 2017 sounds just right because at that point I was buying a lot more stuff. And I remember they came out at the same time as like this white with red pair. But yeah. And that was back when things were like easier to get. Let's see, do I have any free runs? Kind of, but not really. I have that trail pair, and I have a pair that I bought and wore during a trip to Toronto in 2005, somewhere probably in a storage unit. But it's not a shoe that I keep up with a whole lot. Yeah, cheat code 2x. Exactly. Like I turn that thing on, and it does get weird when you like watch something after that that's not 2x, or you accidentally like click on the normal speed thing, and it sounds like people have just like slowed down so much, and it's like very off-putting. Let's see, at the top where I belong, I suppose. I mean, dude's got some solid content. Like, don't take it from me. Go ahead, watch it, and you'll see for yourself. Like, that's one of the things that I truly appreciate, though, because having I put decent effort into how things look for my like videos and stuff, but he has more pride in his work, I suppose. So check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Not a one. Let's see. Yeah, I missed 2017.
That's okay.
What is that? Who is she talking to? This phone thing gets triggered by like so many things that are not what I want it to be triggered by. Like when I'm trying to tell this woman to play state champs or some, need to breathe or whatever it is I feel like listening to in the moment, silence. It's terrible. Terrible. Let's see. Oh, took that down. Still on looking for those Asics. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can blame me. I should have done the review earlier. Nope. They have the 95s has never even been on my channel. I made a single video to some extent. If you catch it was Mother's Day last year. I made because I got my mom a pair. Well, let's back up just a little bit. Remember those neon 95s, right? They came out December of, I guess, 20, right? Yeah, going into 21. And Bobby Sneaker World, he asked me if I could put in for a pair for his son, right? Because, things are hard to come by sometimes. So I did, and I got through. But then he also got through, like, locally. So he's like, hey, I can go pick these up right now at, like, JD Sports or whatever. I'm all right, cool. I'm just going to keep this order and I'll just give them to my mom at some point or whatever. Because my mom, like the 95 is her favorite running shoe, right? Favorite shoe in general, actually. So I figured I'll just give it to her. And so I did. I recorded her opening it up and all that crap, right? And trimmed down the video as I often do. And then made it into like 1 minute of watching, and it found its way onto the Instagram and was watched by 6 people. So that's the one time I've really shown off any 95s. So if you dig down way, way into the past, you'll see it. But anyways, maybe I'll share that sooner or later since Mother's Day is coming up or something like that. This right here, cream and putty for the colorway, but most people, well, some people know this as the the Earth Day Asics Gel Lyte 3, right? So it's got some sustainability thing going on in there, right? Learned that from old Kyle Martin, who watches my videos from time to time. It's got the nice gum bottom and stuff. This right here, I bought these in October because I bought them with some Trabuco Maxes, a Brain Dead crossover or collaboration, and the Okayama Denim Gel Lyte 3s, which is also some sort of crossover. But this one right here just kind of, I don't know, just kind of stayed on the side in a box, and I was going through things. I'm like, you know what? I need to do this review because Earth Day is coming up. So I knocked it out several months later. Unfortunately, because I was so late on it, that partially played into ACS Sneakers missing out on getting himself a pair. But hopefully he's still able to find them somewhere, because I would imagine even though they seem to be sold out, I would think that people aren't trying to get too much money out of them, the ones that don't actually want them, you know? But yes, this right here, the Asics Gel Lyte 3 for Earth Day 2021. This thing on the back here, though, that kind of a jarring sort of look, because it just doesn't quite go with everything. But it's the same stuff that they put on the, what was that, the recycled shoe, had all that crap going on. It was the SVD Gel Lyte 3, right? Which feels exactly the same. So those, yeah, if you saw that video or if you know what I'm talking about, same sort of thing, you know, putting in the recycled stuff. And now we have this. So that means we're on to the last week. The last Asics running shoe that I broke out for the month, which was the Cumulus 23, which, oh my God, dude, like sometimes when you have different price tiers, things are still kind of similar performance-wise. This time around, they were not. This, I could tell that these are $40 cheaper than those other 2 shoes, and I didn't really appreciate it, nor did my feet. Now, are they terrible? I'm not going to say they're terrible, but just from a comparison, when I was running in them, like the whole time, all I could think about was like, I want to stop doing this, but I've still got like 15 minutes or whatever the case was. So yeah, not great, but I will say they get a pass for like this really cool mesh design that they have going on there. Kind of like that. It's almost like when you see like magma under the earth or something, you know, kind of looks like that to me. So they're pretty cool from a visual standpoint, you know. I think I wore these to, I saw a concert last week. Who was that? Silverstein and Beartooth and The Devil Wears Prada. Anybody familiar with any of those bands at all? Comment down below. But yeah, these, again, you could just tell that they were the cheaper version, right? And it's fine. I mean, I did that review of those Dynablasts. Let me close this thing before I start talking again. I did the review of those Dynablasts sometime last year or the year before, and it was the same sort of thing. But what's crazy about those, the Dynablasts, like nobody watched that video, right? And I get it. But then like I ran into this guy on my way into work one time, and he's like, "Hey, like I think I saw you on YouTube. Did you review this like Dynablast shoe?" I'm like, "You watched that?" You know, it was like of all the 5 people that watched it, like it's weird to meet one of them, you know? Because like I've got some videos that have like pulled in some decent views. Never met any of those people, but that was the one. That was the one time. Let's see what's going on over here. You're missing out on. Oh yeah, for the 90. Yeah, no, people like them. Sean, check out the Nike Free Run 5 Shield Pack, black and white. Yeah, I remember those being a pretty popular thing, like the freeze when they first came around. And What is playing now? So give me 1 second. I don't know about you guys. I'm a Sonos guy, and now it is like playing music for some reason, which I don't know why it would be doing that because it makes no sense, right? Since I didn't really tell it to, and but for whatever reason, it felt like I wanted to hear Hootie and the Blowfish, which I'm not opposed to, right? But like not while I'm doing the live things, because then YouTube gets all angry. Though I turned off the monetization on this one anyway, so maybe it wouldn't matter. But I mean, do you guys want to hear some Hootie and the Blowfish? Because I can totally turn that up. Anyways, let's see. Gave to his mom, best 95 of all time. Love to see it. That's a Grail status shoe for me. Always wanted a pair, but never a Panther. Yeah, the thing about my mom is like she's got a pretty decent collection of shoes at this point. I don't think she's aware of that. Where's my now the apartment people are calling? It's like everything's like just trying to get my attention right now, and I'm not having that. Anyways, yeah, mom's got a pretty decent little collection going on, which is cool, right? But it's like at the same time, she likes the things, which I don't think she has any idea like what goes into getting some of them or like what they go for. I showed my dad a like a StockX link once because like my mom was wearing her Bloodline ones, right? And I'm like, hey, check this out. And he looked at them. He's like, that's how much those cost? Like, I'm like, well, I mean, now, yeah, sure. But it's like it blew his mind. He was like, I can't believe people are spending this money on these things. Here's one that some people probably spent some money on, maybe. This is the Royalty 12, right? Because, people like 12s, some of them. This is a pretty decent one, even though it's not quite what everybody wanted with all this gold and whatnot. And I am not a fan of what's going on this insole. Is that down to the bottom two, or is that okay? That's the what are those things? The crafts where like it had that stuff, but like all the way down onto like the actual bottom of the shoe and stuff. I did not like it. Did not like it at all. But anyways, this right here, I do like Jordan 12s. I mentioned that. I actually pulled out 2 pair this tonight, right? And this one, I'm not against it, but I'm not like I wouldn't have gone out of my way too much for it, I guess. Well, or maybe I did because I probably paid a decent amount for them because the European thing. I don't remember where I got these, but I feel like I have 2 pairs of them though. I am fairly certain because sometimes, I put in on the raffles, right? Because I feel like I can do that, and sometimes I win more than one, and then I just put the other one at my mom's house. But yeah, this right here, not my favorite 12, but it's not like visually offensive like some of them have been, right? So I'll let it slide, it's decent. Just wish they had done the inside normally. Hey, Damien Bell, hello. Hello to you. What is going on? Let's see. Nice. Says he's talking to Mark. Yeah, the free run. Okay. If you had a wife and kid, would you spoil them with sneakers or is it all about you? Apparently, you must be living under some sort of rock because I buy a lot of shoes for a lot of people. So I don't need a wife and kids. I just need people that I care about, and then they get the same treatment. And from time to time, I do give people, not lately, I think I've done, what, 2 or 3? I've done a few like giveaway things like with shoes to like viewers or whatever. But most of the time, they go to family and once or twice, something like that, to, donations. So yeah, I spread the wealth because if I bought everything just for me, what kind of life is that, huh? So this right here, this is the Hanon Adidas Working Men's Club EQT Race Walk. It's a long, convoluted name with a lot of pieces to it. It also came with like a lot of laces going on here, like one for every extra piece of that name that was completely unnecessary. And in my opinion, a very cool insole. You see that? It's got like these weird textures to it. Yeah. But this right here, I like corduroy. So, and this has corduroy on it. So I was thinking, well, that's pretty cool. And because like the whole branding thing, the Hanon thing, They have that on the back end, right? So that's pretty all right as well. I do like that when they go that extra mile. I will say though, when it comes to wearing these, you know, they are not comfortable. They are not. My feet were not thrilled whatever day I wore these. And they're like a little bit of a looser fit too. So I was just walking around in them and I'm like, oh man. Oh man, you know. I like them a lot though, past that. Like the visual and all the stuff that went into it and like the whole understanding like why they look the way they look, totally on board with it. But that comfort leaves a lot to be desired. That is for sure. But you know, oh, what is that? Oh yeah, they came with some coasters too, right? Only the essentials and a sticker, right? Yeah. There was a very limited edition release of these that came in like a nice box. It had like I think it had like a cup with it or something, you know? It had a bunch of stuff. It's like a survival kit, you know? If all you had was like shoes, and you're like, well, let's get these shoes and a drink. I'll be okay. We got two more. So this is a Saucony shoe, right? One of the 4 pairs that I own, right? The Megabytes, the Peregrines, and some Endorphins. Yeah. So these right here. This is the Megabyte. Well, it's from the Megabyte pack, but it's the Grid Azura 2000, right? So, you know, I don't know if you're very familiar with these or whatever. They're pretty cool, you know. I do like them in this particular colorway. This is a design though that it's not for everybody, right? Because like I've seen some other ones and I thought to myself, that's something worth passing on. But this one right here, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm already into the Megabyte thing, right? If you saw the first 2 minutes of the video, you know I've got some sort of attachment to this. I'm not going through that whole thing again. But I saw these and I was like, you know what? I already bought the Shadow 6000s. I was thinking since these are still around and they're on sale, like, you know what? Well, let's do that. I do prefer the Shadows over these. If I had to choose only one, I would have chosen that one. But, you know, sometimes life works out in a decent way and you're able to have both things and not have to make a choice. You know, you can have your cake and eat it too or something. So that's what happened here. But yeah, the the Shadows, they have that really cool insole with the keyboard design in there. This is just whatever, you know. I do like that little bubble action they have on the bottom though. So they get some points for that, just not enough points to be better. Visually, I honestly don't remember what the Shadow 6000s feel like to walk around in, but these are really comfortable. So they've definitely got that going for them. So if you see a pair that you're kind of into, you know, I'd say it's worth considering. If you like the look of that particular one, go for it. And you'll be in for something comfortable. So that's always a good thing, right? And now the last shoe that I wore for the month of all new shoes. Anybody want to take a moment to guess what it is? I'll put that out there. And while you guys throw your little guesses and whatnot, I'm going to catch up on the last couple comments before I show it off. Not to build suspense, but I like to see if anybody's going to be right. And I know it takes a minute for people to like get their little entries in there and whatnot. So, Joe Cool says, the Hanon sneakers, in my opinion, coolest non-popular release of the year. Those, yeah, I don't even know how that video did as far as like views or anything, because I guess I could look. I am curious now, because it was one of those things that I don't remember. I only heard about it because I guess I bought something from Hanon at some point, and so they sent me an email and they're like, "Hey, we have something you might like." You know how they always throw that in the subject line, and they actually did have something I might like. So that's how I heard about it, and I just put my little raffle in, and I won. And I was thinking, okay, well, I'm guessing nobody else put raffles in, right? Because sometimes you kind of feel that way. Yeah, this has a whopping 349 views. So people, and quick side thing, like video tagging is important, right? So that way if you want people to find something, they can find it. And I tag on my videos as well as possibly can be done given what I know about things. But obviously, like if people aren't looking for something, they're not going to watch it, right? Because I'm going to guess there probably aren't a lot of videos out there which says even more about how things went. So yeah, it's unfortunate because it's a nice thing, but people just won't ever know that it's out there. I like the Saucony Shadow 6000, as do I. But I have one pair. One thing that I'm trying to do nowadays is not buy a whole lot of like a single model. So the Shadow 6000, as much as I was into that pair, I'm probably done with it, right? I have that one because otherwise the numbers build up. Like you saw what I said about like the Gel Lyte 3 thing, right? I mean, there's some stuff that'll get a pass, like the 12s, the 350s, you know, the various Air Maxes, certain Air Maxes. Yeah. But even with like the Ultra Boost 22, I have the cold ready and I have the standard issue. So I might be done with those, right? I do like them, but it's also so similar to like the 21 that there's no real reason to have a lot of them. Let's see. Those are wild, right? And he says Air Maxes, that's a broad stroke. And then like the pink Dunk high tops. Okay, let's see what he's going for there. The US exclusive. He says the Air Max Blueprint and video tag like the SEO optimization. You do that in YouTube Studio. We'll come back to that. But for anybody who does do like YouTube things out there, because I don't know who all is watching this right now, I do have a small playlist that has 3 videos in it that are super useful for stuff like that. And then there's one that kind of helps put some of that stuff together. So I would suggest watching all 4, but definitely like the 3 that obviously go together, because it'll help you like make your stuff make a little bit more, you know, of an appearance into the world, so to speak, right? Because sometimes like you can get lucky, right? I have older videos that were tagged. You got a lot of you guys are right. I have videos that were done in my early stages of this YouTube thing, the early 2019s, early 2019, probably the first half. Terrible, right? As far as like the behind the scenes work. But sometimes people just find things just somehow, right? But you can take the guesswork out of it if you put some real work into it. So it's definitely something I suggest if you want your stuff to be out there. Because the way I see it, I don't quite care who does and doesn't watch things, but I want the stuff to be found by the people who are looking for it. Does that make sense? This right here is the Air Max 1 Premium in the Blueprint colorway, which has an actual color title. I just don't remember exactly what it was. But either way, these right here, I was not a huge fan of these when I first saw them in the pictures and stuff, because I thought, right? But I put in for them. I put my little draw in, or however this whole thing worked. And sure enough, somehow I got them. I kind of feel like Nike was just being nice to me because I just bought, if you saw the video that I did similar to this last month about all the Air Max month things, I bought like 6 pairs of shoes for Air Max month, right? All at once, five shoes, because one for each week. And then one, the Vapormax 21, just, so it was 6. But either way, I bought a bunch of shoes so that I could have stuff throughout the month. And then they happened to let me win the next raffle or whatever. So maybe there is something to be said about buying stuff. And yesterday, those Kobe black shoes came out. I know there's some people who are like, you don't even know the name of them? I don't. Those black Kobe shoes that came out yesterday, like I got exclusive access to those. And so that'll be here in like a few days, right? So, and all those shirts that I bought. So I guess buying stuff does actually help. But either way, these came in and I was looking at them and I'm like, okay, I do like the materials in the sense that like they're quality materials, right? It's very nice, very well done. But me personally, like I am kind of a sort of a basic sort of dude, right? With simple likings. And I kind of just like your standard Air Max 1 design where it's just like your typical plasticky fake leather type whatever going on around there and the standard mesh and all that stuff. That's just a thing I'm into, you know? I don't have expensive taste like that. I don't need anything too nice. So for that reason, I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, it's just not what I want. But I'm not going to complain because I do like Air Max 1s, and you know, it's been a while since I was able to get one. And they have that glow in the dark thing. It's not glowing right now, but trust me, it does. So I like that. But yeah, this one right here, this Air Max 1 right here, it's cool, right? It is. But I don't look at it the same way as a lot of people seem to have looked at it because of all the things I just said. Let's see. Okay, I'll look for, all right, yeah, cool. The easiest way to find it is probably if you're on like the main part of if you like youtube.com/shoes or whatever, there's a playlist thing. If you click on that, it should be on there. Or if you click on the home section, you'll see like popular videos and like recent videos and a couple playlists that I thought are worth highlighting. It's the bottom one, right? Yes. It'll probably be under like, probably right under like wrestling unboxings or something like that, you know? That's another thing that I cover in those videos, like the actual layout, channel layout, because I have a lot of stuff, right? But if somebody wants to like go to it and find, like Kyle the other day, he wanted to watch one of my Biotech Air Max 90 video. And yeah, it takes like no time at all to find it. You can scroll through the Air Max playlist or the Air Max 90 playlist or the Nike playlist, either one, whichever one floats your boat. Go on through there, you know, the videos are all labeled. I don't do that clickbait thing like best new Adidas. And then you're like, what? That's not helpful. Yeah, I avoid that. So yeah, channel layout is also important. Your videos are very obscure and enthusiast. What? Your videos are about very obscure and enthusiast sneakers. I don't know if that all completely fits. What I love videos, how you properly tag them, does make your channel pop up when surfing. Yeah, because I mean, I do cover some things that are out there, right? But then there are some that are a little more on the obscure side, you know? I mean, I think people are probably still watching my Beavis and Butthead videos, right? And those, I don't know how many people want them, you know, but they're interesting. They probably pop up. The other thing, and it's mentioned in those videos, like you got to use some like broad tags when you're putting stuff up there. So if you put like black and blue Jordans, right, that covers a lot of ground. That could be the Royal Ones, right? It could be, I don't know, but there were some 12s I had on recently that were black and blue. There's a lot of black and blue Jordans, right? But put your video out there so you're at least in the running, because maybe somebody's just looking for black and blue Jordans because they just want Jordans that are black and blue, and your video will pop up. If all you put is blue games, that's what some people are calling those. If that's all you put in your video, yeah, that's all you're gonna get, right? As far as like search results, check your own results and you'll see that. You will. Also, I'm an indoor living kind of guy for the most part, and I do need a pair of slides. So throughout the month, I broke these things in. I pulled them out of a box because after I did the last review on them, I just put them in a box and that was it. So the whole new shoes for April thing, it extended indoors as well, right? Same with Air Max month, all Air Maxes the whole month, all new shoes this month, right? So that's that. And now that we've gone through all, I want to say 18 was the count, if I remember correctly. I'm going to open up a box, right? Well, let's see. There's one more comment here. I like them. Too bad they didn't release over here. The tree line ones come out next week. Yeah, I put in a raffle for the tree lines on End Clothing, I think it was. But then I saw that they are coming up here in the States too. So that's cool. This is an Adidas box. Some of you can tell by the tape that I'm not quite showing off because it has to have my address on it, right? But I'm going to open this thing up, see what's on in here. I'm not sure. There's two boxes down here. They're both fairly light, so I'm not sure which one is which. Oh, this one is the shoes, or a pair of shoes. What? It's a very plain box, very nondescript. Kind of makes me question some things. What is going on here? Oh boy. this right here. Yeah, I've never seen a pair up close like this. It's the first time. Why does this thing exist is still my question. At least, yeah, but the labeling is apparently on the inside. Foam runner. Oh man, I visually am underwhelmed would be the nice way to put it. Let's go ahead and slip this thing on, see how it feels. Oh, it feels nasty. Yeah. Oh my God, this is. It fits fine, you know. I didn't do the size up thing. I figured I'll buy the same like I buy with my Yeezy slides, because you know both of these only come in whole sizes, so like 8, 9, 10, whatever. So yeah, these are both. Show you these from the side here. These are both a size 9, right? So this one, this one looks a little longer, but if you look at it, it really just kind of comes to a point. This is not so usable so much, right? But either way, yeah, this one certainly looks longer and stuff. Looks like a longer 9. You ever notice that? Like sometimes when you get something and it's like a size whatever, but it doesn't look like a size whatever. So yeah, this thing right here. Let's pull out the other one, you know. It's only half a review if you only pull out half the shoes, right? So I don't know if that's true or not. It might be. They're light. I like that. Man, this is So we'll see when these get pulled out. For this month, so last May I did themes through the month, right? So each week was a different theme. So if you scroll through my like kicks of the day video, you'll see that everything for the week was always like had some kind of ongoing similarity. So this week or this month, I'm doing the same thing for May, right? So if these can fit in with something else in some kind of way, maybe I'll bring these out this month. But if not, this might have to wait till June. We'll see. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's something, I guess. And for the let's see, where am I here? I like them. Okay, nope, read that one. And okay, you're gonna love them. Okay, yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, and that's the thing. Like, because with those, I ended up, like I said, the website, like Adidas or Yeezy Supply or whatever. Where did I get these from? I got these through Confirmed, and the website said go up half size or something like that. And normally I'm a 9.5, like straight up size, right? But I was thinking, well, these seem like they're similar to those other things, like the foam, not the foam runs, like the slides, and those work out at a 9.5. I also buy my Yeezys in general at true to size. So maybe I'll be fine with these, right? And just going at a 9 instead of a 10. I feel like the 10, I don't know, it might have looked, it already looks bulky, right, in a way. So I figured if I went with a 10, it'd look even worse. But I also said the same thing about the 450. Completely forgot the 450s. But yeah, I said the same thing about the 450, you know, and I do have a size 9.5 and also a size 10. But like that difference is negligible because it's like only half a size. When you're going like a whole size, then things get a little different. All right, so continuing with like the whole running thing, I'm not running in these. Like I'm telling you that right now. There will be no performance review on those. But I do have a bunch of like running things I bought from Adidas because, you know, I do that. So let's go ahead, get in here, see what I bought because sometimes I don't remember. And it gives me something to do while, like, now that the video is mostly over, people can start trickling out and whatnot. So I'll open these, talk to the people that are still here about whatever the people that are still here want to talk about. And then I'll wrap this thing up, probably eat some kind of dinner or something, maybe edit that pro wrestling crate video that I shot before this. We'll see. I needed some running pants. These seem weird. They're very, something about them feels weird, but I think that it's a weird material, but I think it's like a good one. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is gonna be a good thing. I only bought the one pair, right? I think. I don't know. Did I? Again, because sometimes I buy like different things to see which ones I like. Yeah, because this is a different material, right? So I bought two so I could try them both out, you know. So we'll see. We'll see. Break these things out probably later this month or something like that. Wait, do I have some? I think I have some Adidas running shoes that I wanted to try out, right? Probably. Or maybe I was planning to buy some. I don't even know. Because I did have my eyes on a couple different things. If anybody has ever worn like the Light Strike shoes, like by Adidas, that is a very like, well, I'm gonna say Light Strike shoes, but shoes that have a Light Strike sole in them are very nice. Like it's like Boost, but it's lighter, right? And because it's like just as comfortable, like they don't need as much of it to, you know, fill out the shoe. So when you get a pair, they're going to be super light, but you're going to have that same cushion and durability, at least on the bottom, that you had on Ultra Boost, though slightly more because the Light Strike material is more durable over time, so it's not going to bottom out as some people say Ultra Boost does. You know, just a little something to think about. Couple running shirts, you can't tell, but this one is like a very light highlighter, sort of yellowish green sort of thing going on there. It's this. This is like a bag. So there's that. Let's see. Takes time getting used to, but they're super fun. The pairs manufactured in USA are more forgiving than the pairs made in China. Well, there's something that I didn't know. And yeah, Light Strike is really, yeah. The thing that's, what is this? They just put this thing in all kinds of like wrap. It's like Christmas. Like, I have never. What in the world? I have never had to work so hard to get into a shirt in my life. So a lot of the Adizero shirts, or excuse me, a lot of the Adizero shoes are Light Strike based. So I must have been thinking about getting a pair of Adizeros or something. I bought all this. I don't know how long ago it was, but whatever. Sounds like something that I would do. And then another pair of pants. Okay, this pair feels like the first, but looks different than the first. Must have been a good deal because there is no way I would ever pay like, this says $65. I'm not paying $65 for a pair of pants. Jeez, this pair says 70. Like 70. Like, yeah, there must have been some kind of sale going on or something. But cool. So got some running stuff to try out sooner or later. Got to hit the Adidas site, buy some new shoes because that's a thing that I like to do from time to time. Do you have any suggestions though for like the Light Strike? Because I forget which ones I was looking at. Because I know they have a couple different choices, you know, and some of them have a weird shape to them. But a lot of Adidas shoes can have a weird shape to them. But I saw somebody running in one of those recently, and like they don't look so bad when you're actually like using them. It's just the pictures and stuff, which I guess is why people really like those on feet clips. You know, people would always say, "Oh, I want to see what they look like," and blah blah blah. In my earlier months of the channel life, now, you know, I'm guessing that that's part of the reason people continue to watch and come back and watch more is because that's there. But I do need to look into like a pair of Light Strike shoes so I can get a new pair, see what's going on with that. Also, I have, oh, that's right. I have a couple pairs of trail shoes from Adidas that I wanted to break in. Well, two. One, they're both the same thing, but I'm only worn one pair once and the other pair not at all. So I need to get those in. And maybe those Sean Wotherspoon, what was that thing? They had like Jiminy Cricket in them and the Super Turfs. The Super Turfs. So probably break those out, but not this weekend though. Parents are coming around. We're going to hit some trails, but we're going to be wearing Sauconys, right? The Peregrine 11s, yeah, Sauconys. So we wearing some of those this weekend. So no Adidas for now, but I am going to have to jump online at some point, see what they have. Hopefully there's some sales coming around because, like I said, full price isn't really my thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. And before I go closing things up, also, like I said, if anybody has any questions or whatever, now's the time, because this is when you're going to get like a better answer out of me than like in the comments, because usually like I put off replying to things for days, and then I do it all at once, and the comment replies get shorter like as I get deeper into there. So now I can just kind of talk, and you'll get more out of it because I'll like elaborate. So just something to consider. But if you got nothing to say, you got nothing to say. I'm totally cool with that too. I usually don't have anything to say. But in times like this, I got to do this whole one-man show thing, you know what I'm saying? So I got to keep that train moving. Let's see now. I had the second edition of the basic one. Don't remember what they're called. Light Strike Pro, maybe. Where's the carbon? The pretty low pro. Let's see. I have the SL20, the first one that came out. They're up to version 3 now. The SL20 was like crazy good. I wish I had known that when they were more plentiful, like when I could choose from more colors. But those are really nice, really nice. Definitely recommend the SL20. But I did get the Adizero Pro, which was, it had like boost in the back, and it had something, and it had the light strike in the front and a carbon plate somewhere in the middle. And those were cool, but did I run in those? I'd have to check my Garmin thing, because I honestly don't remember. I know I wore them to work one day, and that usually means that I ran in them later that day, but I may not have. So I don't know. That's something I have to dig into my archives. That's why I like track that stuff, so I can know what I have and haven't worn, like running wise. Let's see. Before I find those, actually, let's see here. We are going to. I'm gonna walk through some things. You asked about like the YouTube studio thing, and since I got some free time because I've got nothing else going on, we're gonna do a little bit of screen sharing. So get your questions ready, because you're gonna see the back end side of how this whole YouTube thing is going for me, as far as how I set these things up and whatnot. And then we'll also get into the whole thing about where those videos are. Actually, is that good? Okay. First off, we're going to come back to this one real quick. How do I get to my channel? Can I get to it from here? Your channel. All right. First off, let's find this thing real quick, because I feel like it should be where I said it was going to be. Let's see, reviews, kicks of the day, Air Max month 2021, quarterly pickups, sneaker battles, wrestling, challenges and collection, YouTube tips. Yeah, like I said, right there at the bottom. So you don't have to watch those 3 in any particular order. I just recorded them in that order. And then the last one is basically like a walkthrough of me making whatever video I was making that day, which I want to say was the React Presto Flyknit. So I was just kind of talking about some stuff, and it kind of encompasses some of the things in those first 3 videos. So that's what that is, right? So just scroll on to the bottom of the main part of the channel, and you'll see it right there. So now let's get back to this studio thing. Okay. So when it comes to like the tagging and whatnot, because you asked the question, let me read that first. Before I find these videos, do you tag lives after the stream or tag before you go live? I do not tag my live. Okay, if I'm doing a solo live, I do not tag it, because I just don't care I just don't care. If I'm going to have people around, like if I'm doing like a sneaker battle, or it's like when I used to do my little release recap things, those I would tag and put up, so that way they can be out there and people can find them. So that way, if people are on here with me, it feels like it's not so much of a waste of their time. Like, I put in the extra work to try to get some extra views, right? But when it's just me doing something like this, I'm indifferent to the whole thing. So times like this, I throw it up there. I don't think there's a single tag on this video right now, but sometimes I'll put some up later just because. It depends on how far off the rails the live goes. If I keep it like short and to the point, then I'll probably tag it. Something like this, because since we're about to get into some other stuff, we'll see what happens, but I'm leaning towards no, honestly. So, the YouTube thing, right? Well, 350s. That's one that I just did recently, right? So, let's say that I'm going to make a 350 video, right? Well, let's say I've already got the video up and all that stuff. I just want to get the tags in there. So this is a search for 350, as you can tell, right? Title contains 350. Usually sorted by views because that helps a fair amount. And then I look at the ones that are the highest, right? So let's just take a look at the analytics for it. And that's what kind of gives me an idea of some of the tags to use. So coming over here to the reach tab, which is where some of that stuff is, scroll on down to the right side here, and then you'll see all these things. There's some other stuff in here talking about like where the traffic comes from and all that crap, you know, like where these videos are being played from and all that. But this is the section that I'm talking about right now because it's the part that's somewhat helpful. So it takes a minute for these things to pop up when you click on the whole ordeal. So obviously, like a lot of tags bring people in, right? There's a whole list of them. But the top ones, I usually look at those for like the top couple videos that I have under whatever. So if I was doing a 350 video, I'd do this with a couple 350s. If I'm doing it with a 12 video, I'll do it with like the top couple 12s, so on and so forth, right? So you have some things, and obviously you change the names to match up with whatever. So Yeezy like MX Rock if I'm doing the MX Rock, or Yeezy 350 like Light if I'm doing the lights. But it lets you know that, okay, these upper ones here are pretty popular. So let's get those in there. But then past that, the other thing is, how do I get back to the actual video? Not that. The other thing is that you want to have stuff in there that actually covers others, slightly more specific things. What was I doing here? This is a bunch of Sneaker Hearts thing. Must have been one of those Sneaker Hearts days. Yep, it was. Anyways, so I use TubeBuddy. Kind of helps to some extent, but a lot of this is just what I do kind of off the top because I've done it often enough that I kind of have a good idea of what I want to put in there. So, you know, that's like a search term that's obviously going to do something. I've noticed that like shoes up, sleeves down, Yeezy is like a search term that people use. So I use that myself to help, you know, cash in on it, so to speak. And then a lot of these other ones like natural 350 on feet, because that's a thing that people are going to look for, you know. If it's an unboxing, you know, I'll slip that in there. Sometimes it's not, so I just skip over it. In this particular case, the natural is actually called the Abez. If you look at the box, the name was changed at some point. So I have that in there in case people looked by that. And then, you know, there's 2020 350 or 2020 Yeezy releases, you know, things of that nature, right? Yeezy 350 review. These little green numbers are what TubeBuddy does. It just kind of like searches for stuff and it lets me know like how I'm doing in the rankings, you know. So the lower number, the lower the number, the better, right? So some of those numbers are a little higher than others, but as long as you're somewhere out there, people will kind of find your stuff, right? And then the other thing, and this isn't like the best example. What was the last 350 review I did? That would be the, okay, wait, which, the bone one? All right, the bone one. So you put a lot of stuff in there. You use some of those keywords, you know. It's good to like double up on things. So if you label your video Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 V2 bone on feet review, put that somewhere in there, right? Because that's supposed to help with algorithmic things. So it kind of drives home the point of what you are. It's also not a bad idea to slip that down into this section, right? So you got that. And then all this other stuff is just things that people will search for, you know? Bone Yeezy 350, bone 350 on feet, 350 sizing. It's a lot of keyword stuff, right? Just a lot of keywords that you're trying to cash in on. So when people search for this crap, they actually find this crap. Now, let me switch back over to this StreamYard thing and see if I'm missing anything. Okay. I haven't started yet, but I want to research before I do. Make a channel, but I see what you mean. These are analytics for all videos of 350, not just you. Yeah, those analytics are the ones that was on like the studio side for like under my specific video show me my ranking, but the one that had like those green numbers shows me my ranking against other people, right? And it's the same with other stuff. I mean, let's see. So that one's fairly new. I'm trying to think what's one of my more popular ones. The what was that? Scottie Pippen used to wear them. The up tempo. That video did pretty well. Like, so you can look at that one, see what people are looking for on that. Jesus, $87. It's like half price almost at this point. So you look at the up tempo, and this again, same sort of thing. It shows me what people are searching for that's pulling them into my video, right? So then you can use that to kind of, if you do another up tempo video, which is unlikely for me because unless they bring out that University Blue player, I'm probably just going to be done with this one, right? But it gives you an idea again of what to put in there. So that way when you're tagging your video, like putting in the tags at the bottom and what keywords or whatever to use in the actual description of the video, you play to your strengths, right? So you don't always have to like rebuild the wheel or reinvent the wheel. You just go back and you see how things went in the past, and then you just kind of do that, right? With some slight adjustments if necessary. And then, you can toy around with it or whatever. And then, like I said, a lot of this stuff, like a lot of those views came from YouTube search, right? Most of that, because that's just how people find stuff, Some things, like if it's not so well tagged, then it'll probably be more like just browsing or whatever, where it's not something that pops up at the top of a search, but people find it because they're just like browsing through things. And then all this stuff is like external sources where it's coming from. I don't even know I'm not even sure what telegram.org is. And I'm wondering like how this WhatsApp thing plays into anything, honestly. And then these videos are videos that are suggesting this video. So that's not mine. None of these are mine, right? But these videos are suggesting mine, like this particular one. So there's that. And then as far as the playlists go, I got a number of views from like the Nike reviews playlist, the popular uploads playlist, that's doing okay. And then just straight uploads. After you put up X amount of videos, the uploads thing gets a little long in the tooth or something. And so trying to scroll through that becomes terrible. But one other thing I was talking about was like the playlist and stuff. Actually, that's not what I wanted. This is a very slow process when it comes to loading these things. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Does that also track backlinks? Like, for example, if you had a website to direct them to a specific video on YouTube? Yes. So, like, does it show right now? Like, at certain times of the month, like, it's not a substantial number, but one of my higher ranking things will be like overall channel traffic coming from prowrestlingcrate.com. Because when I do those why does this thing keep going back to? When I do those Pro Wrestling Crate unboxings, sometimes I'll tag them in it, and some of my videos have been featured on their webpage. So like my January video will often be watched, and like I'll get a nice bunch of views from that. But let me check my overall channel analytics and maybe, and also like for my, actually I have one, I'll show you an example that works out pretty well in this if I can find it. But this is like the overall. So yeah, so see right there, like I was saying, Google search plays a lot in it because when you Google search, you still get the YouTube results. So that's why it's important to do the tagging. But the pro wrestling crate over the last, couple weeks or whatever, that's up there because people are on pro wrestling crate looking at the new ones, and I'm there in one of their little featured sections or something. So I get some pull from that. But let me see. 90 slide. It was this one might still, since it was, where is that? So this, right, vkmag.com, they had a link to my video in one of their articles, right? So this huge spike right here, that was them, right? So a large percentage of those views came from that webpage, right? Which I am eternally grateful for, because who knows how many like extra views or watches or people that decided to follow closer after that, clicked onto it. So definitely like happy that happened. Let's see. And yeah, I see. So they're linking to your video from there. Exactly. So people will do that and you'll see it, right? So sometimes you might have to dig down a little deeper, like, because if it's not in like the top 5 or something, then you'll have to, hit the expand thing like on this screen. Then you can scroll all the way down. And it's like, okay, it gets into some weird stuff sometimes. And some of it is just like, what do you call it? Like the user agents from like when you have like a mobile device, every browser related activity falls under a specific user agent, right? So that'll show up on these different things. Like, yeah, so I'll see like the Opera browser, then WhatsApp here, DuckDuckGo, I believe that's a specific browser, right? Facebook Messenger, I guess that was something. Yeah, so there's a lot of that stuff that comes in. I have no idea what Clint.be is. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff in there to like dig through and see where the traffic is coming from, why the traffic is coming in, all that stuff. So it kind of helps give you a good idea of what your channel is doing, or like what or how it's doing, why it's doing what it's doing. So, and I try to tell other friends of mine and stuff like that actually do the YouTube thing, and like I don't like to push videos on people. And sometimes when I'm like suggesting that people watch things that I made, it feels a little pretentious. It truly does, right? A whole lot of self-serving going on in there is how I feel about it. But I mean it in the best possible way, because it's like, look, if you go through and you watch some of these things, like I'm going to cover some stuff and show you some screenshots and whatever, and you'll walk away with a better understanding of some things. I'm not saying it's all going to be new information, but some of it's going to be new and some of it's going to be helpful. So I try to get people to do that. It doesn't always go over, people have X amount of free time, and only X amount of that free time is going to be spent watching my crap. And I get that. But later on, it's like when they're like, oh man, I'm trying to get my channel to do better. It's like, you got to do better, right? Nothing against anybody. It's just, it's only going to work out so well if you don't put into it what you should put into it. You understand? Useful info to better optimize your site or app. Yeah, so it's you just gotta, and that's the thing again, like the success of this channel, I'm not gonna say it means absolutely nothing to me, but I don't do this for like views or notoriety. I like to blend in with the crowd, right? It's just that if I'm going to spend my time making a video about some Yeezy slides or whatever, I'm going to tag it so people who are interested in Yeezy slides can see Yeezy slides, and then they can do whatever they want from there. I am definitely not trying to be the next whoever the big YouTube people are right now. I don't know, but I don't need that, you know? This is like a hobby, and the bigger it becomes, the more work that goes into it. And at some point, I feel like I'm at that point right now where I give as much time to this as I feel like is necessary. You know, I don't want this to start being like some kind of actual job. I have a job, right? That's how I'm able to have this. So I'm good. I get my views here and there. I do my lives. A handful of people will show up. I'll hang out with them. This is more than enough for me, right? It's different for everybody, and I respect that. I know some people want more for themselves, and it's good to have goals and aspirations. In this world, I just don't. Let's see. Exactly reason why I want to research before I do make anything. Yeah, that's definitely like the thing. And I think the longer video in that little YouTube playlist thing, I think the longer video talks about some stuff about actually making the videos. The other ones were mostly, you know, just some of the stuff that we were just talking about. But yeah, like the making the videos is kind of like the other part that it all matters a lot, you know. So I'm not going to say one matters more than the other, but I've seen some people make some really good videos and them be seen by nobody. And I've seen some people make some bad videos that are seen by everybody. So you just got to find that balance, you know. Like when it comes to me making mine, I like to make sure things look how I want them to look, right? Which is not bad, you know. I mean, I do record in 4K, so that helps, you know, give a little bit of clarity to some of the videos and stuff. I know most people don't watch in 4K, right? And that's fine, but a downscaled 4K looks better than a standard 1080p, right? Because it's just some sort of magic in there to make it that way. So that's cool. But the thing is, I just want people when they show up and they see something to be like, okay, I can watch this. This doesn't hurt my eyes. The sound needs some work, right? But for the most part, people aren't paying attention to what I say anyway. So whatever. So I put that out there just to say that when you're making your videos, right? Think about what you would want to see when you're watching a video. That's what I do, right? Like I like to see who I'm interacting with, right? Meaning like some of their personality or whatever, or like what makes them who they are. I get that there's definitely a market for people who just turn on the camera and they go right into the review. And when they're on camera, this is all they talk about. And when they're done, the video stops, right? There's a market for that. Of course there is. But me, you know, I sit back and talk about some random stuff, let people kind of get an idea for who this person is that they're watching. So then maybe they'll be like, you know what, this guy is okay. Or they'll see something about me like, I don't like this guy, right? As a person, they'll just like dislike me. And then they can move on and find someone else's channel to watch, right? Because as I said before, there are some people that I've watched in the past or used to watch in the past, and you're looking at their stuff and you're thinking, okay, this is cool, you know, because they're talking about the things that you're trying to hear about. But then as you start to hear more about them and start to put those pieces together, like, okay, this person is garbage, like in its purest form of garbage. So we're done with this, right? And you push it to the side because there's a million people talking about a million of the same things. There's no need to like tie yourself down to people that you can't really get behind. He says mine I would say they're okay. Mr. Demetrius, what's going on? What's going on? I'm just talking about some things about like YouTube studio and building up channels and all that stuff. So it is handy things definitely to think about when you're making, and obviously part of it is like how much time do you have, right? So some people will say, do you have any more questions about anything that you want to see in any of these little sections? Just let me know, and I'll get into that and show you whatever it is you need to see. But some people will say that you need to be constantly making videos, and I understand where that's coming from, right? And to some extent, that's kind of true. But really, you just need enough repetition to just kind of keep getting your name out there, right? Keep yourself like floating around through their little algorithmic things. For me, like I've got a lot of a backlog, so when I take a month off, it's mostly unnoticed, right? So that's fine. But on a smaller scale, I get if you're going to be trying to get your name out there, I'm not going to say you had to put a video out every week, but if you put out, a couple a month, if you're able to put out a couple a month, what if that's what works for you and your amount of free time, cool, do that. You'll also be able to focus more on those individual videos that you do put out, right? So you'll get like thumbnails that you're happy with. You'll get tags that you're happy with. You'll get an overall total package that you're happy with. And then the views will come in as people see it. And then you'll hopefully, the way things should work out is you'll attract people that are into watching your style of videos, which is good because you're making videos that you want to watch. So the people that come in will be people that you have some sort of connection with, right? It's one of those things. I'm not trying to get all like deep and stuff with this, but there are some layers to it. It's like an onion, right? I've heard that somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want to be another job too. Just want to create and hopefully people watch and enjoy. Mostly want to share or enjoy. Yeah, just enjoy watching more than creating. He for years he enjoyed more watching than creating. Yeah, and for me, like it does. I will say, like because of how I want my videos to be, I kind of hate making them sometimes because it's like, hey, when I'm in the zone, no problem. I'll like knock one out, but I know that they can take some time, like start to finish. If I was to, let's say it's a Saturday where I've got nothing going on and I'm going to just make a video I'm going to sit down, open a box, do the whole thing all in that day. I'm setting up lights, setting up the camera, finding a shirt that I haven't worn yet that makes sense with the video. I'm sitting down, I'm opening this box, I'm talking about things and doing all that stuff. Wrap that up, take a bunch of pictures, go back, count, time the video so I can do an on-feet thing that like matches up with how long I speak about sizing, because that's another piece that takes a little bit of effort or a lot sometimes, because you got to talk. Like when I'm doing like my personal thoughts thing, I try to talk for a certain amount of time to let a certain amount of pictures go through, but it not drag on. And then when I talk about the sizing, I need to talk long enough for it to make it worthwhile to make a video out of it, but still not drag on too long, because after a certain point, you can only show a pair of shoes for so long. So then there's that, get all that stuff together. Then there's like the editing and whatnot. And if you break down some of the videos that I do and all the little crap that's going on in them, yeah, it's time consuming. I'm not gonna sitting here trying to say like I work harder than anybody else, because I'm not gonna say I do, because I probably don't. But I like things to be a certain way, so I had to look up these random pictures and slip those in there. And then I get everything out there, make a thumbnail, do a bunch of tags, all this crap. So it's a pretty good portion of the day that goes into it. I think my last count was like 6 hours or something, from like the time I sit down, well, actually from the time I turn the lights on to the time I'm able to like let people watch the video. Yeah, it's about 6 hours or something like that. And that includes like uploading and all that, and then hitting publish once it's like actually, I got my little, what's that, like the money break, the ad breaks in there, and like the tags for like other videos that I want to link to. Yeah, somewhere between 6 and 7 for like a standard shoe review, right? Other things like wrestling figures and all that, it's a little different. All right, let's see. I think I understand. Thank you for the back end insight. Yeah, no problem, man. It's a thing that it's easier to talk about than to like type about. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a grind, takes a lot of time. That it does. I've been doing this for a while, and it doesn't necessarily get easier. You just get used to it. So, because like it's still, like they said, it's a grind of sitting there and like what your workflow is, right? You get it down to a science to some extent, but like even though I know exactly how I'm going to make a video, it still takes time to do it. It's just, it just gets smoother, right? So Xavier, hello to you as well. Let's see, especially the thing about people being, yeah, there's some people out there that like where their minds are, their hearts are, their heads are, whatever, you're better off distancing yourself, right? It happens. Let's see. I definitely hate making content sometimes. I work in a space where I have to take all my lighting down every time, audio and the camera. See, that's part of the thing that sucks. And then also like the cleanup, like when I do my quarterly pickup videos, this last one wasn't so bad because I didn't have as many, but like even the preparation for certain videos can take some time because you're going around and you're like pulling out stuff, or if you're doing a review of a certain shoe, you might know like, okay, I want to have the Jordan 12 this, and I want to have the Jordan 3 that ready. So you go and you pull that out, you know. And then also with like the unboxings are like depending on who you are. To me, there's a certain challenge in it because I don't watch anything. If I'm going to buy something for myself, I don't watch anything about it because I want it to be fresh. And I don't look up a lot of pictures because I don't care to. So when I open a brand new box of something, I'm trying to like dissect it as I'm talking about it. So like I'm opening it up, you know, and like I'm sitting here and I'm like, so starting with the bottom. And then while you're seeing that picture, I'm like looking at the bottom, like, what in the world is this? That's, you know, you don't see that because there's a picture in the way. But trust me, that happens more often than not. And then I'm going through things, and luckily with it being a video, I can slip stuff in after the fact of like, oh, I didn't notice this little swoosh over here on the side, but I'll slip a picture in there so that way if people wanted to see something about it, they can see something about it. Because like that little mini swoosh on the blueprints, I didn't see that until I was taking pictures. I'm like, I'll just slip a picture in there. It'll be fine. So when I'm talking about like the toe box area, I'll put that in there. There we go. Leave a nice little close up. People can tell that it's stitched. I don't have to have said anything because there's a picture. And I also use a lot of like annotations in my videos, lots of them. Oh, Damien Bell, appreciate you stopping in. I'll see you next time, whenever the next time may be. Let's see, I'm still trying to find my own lane while doing this. Yeah, I totally get that, right? Because it's finding your thing is not always easy. Let's see, is this where's that thing? Yeah, it's not always easy to think about it. So the way I did it, and if anybody wants to like, for some reason, like join and be online, I can stop this thing because that screen doesn't need to be up anymore. But yeah, for anybody that's looking at that stuff, it's like I said, when I started making my videos, I had no thought about it whatsoever. I met Skip Goes Hard in a big building with all the stores in it, like months prior to that. And he was just like a normal dude, you know, just like making videos. And I was like, And I always thought these people that made YouTube things were like some sort of like of fame and notoriety or whatever. Nothing against him. I was just saying he's like just an average guy like myself. So I was like, okay, you know, maybe I can do that at some point. So later on, you know, when I had a bunch of free time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start making YouTube videos. And I sat down with a pair of Beavis and Butthead 3MCs and I just started rambling about whatever. And that's what I became, is a guy who sits down, talks about stuff while showing off a pair of shoes, kind of fumbles his way through a review or whatever. And then at the end, hopefully you've got some kind of information about it, or maybe has some sort of entertainment along the way. So to you, Mr. Demetrius, finding your lane or whatever, I get that. Like I said before, and you may have heard it, you may have not. To me, it's all about just making the type of thing that you would want to see. Like whatever your ideal video is, like within your bounds of creative possibilities or whatever, do that, you know? Because I know there's a lot of people like this, I don't know how many of you remember him, but 5 Minute Sneaker TV was, in my opinion, like one of like the best YouTube people, you know? It's unfortunate that his channel isn't around, but he would cover like take like my most informative video, right? whatever that may be. He would do all that stuff and then still be able to consolidate it all down into less than 5 minutes, hence the name, 5-minute sneaker TV. So, you know, like on feet things, like the background, like details and all that stuff. And, you know, like some people tell me that like they don't mind listening to my videos because just, I don't know, something about like the way I speak or whatever. Same thing with him. He, like, you could sit there and listen to him all day just talking about whatever. So he was like one of the best people out there. He just stopped doing it because he stopped doing it, you know, which is a thing that happens. Oh, Dimitri saying this. So Sunday. It depends. Because Sunday is Mother's Day and my mom is coming around this weekend. I don't know if she's leaving on Sunday or what though. So we'll have to play that by ear, but it's a possibility for sure. It is. I'll just have to talk to her and see what she plans on doing. But yeah, overall, like the YouTube thing, it's cool in the sense that like, you know, I've been able to like just meet a bunch of random people that I never would have met before, you know, and some of them are pretty cool, right? Made some good friends and stuff. And it's also kind of cool seeing that people watch things that I make. It's weird that people base how they spend their money on, they base what they spend their money on some of the things that I say. I still feel kind of weird about that, but it's cool just knowing that like the things that I say are reaching people like around the world, you know, because that's another thing you can look at is you can see what countries are watching all your stuff. I think that's some extent that's in like the monetization, but it's also somewhere else. But yeah, so that's kind of cool, you know, as like a personal victory or whatever, knowing that I can be interesting to random people. But it's still weird in a way that I do this. Like, 'cause like I heard somebody like at work or whatever, like saying like, yeah, it's freaking YouTube people and their ads. I was like, yeah. Like I get it, you know, but me, I try not to be overly intrusive with them. That's why like with a standard YouTube, or excuse me, a standard sneaker review, there's an ad right after I introduce the name of the shoe, right before the personal thoughts, and right before the sizing, right? So if you have YouTube Premium, that's why you see those like slightly long pauses between me saying stuff sometimes. But yeah, because I've seen like if you leave YouTube to put the ad breaks in by itself, it had like 10 ad breaks in one of my videos once. And I was like, is this normal? Like, is this what everybody else is doing? Like, should I be doing this? Seems like a lot. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't know what it's like. But yeah, man, like, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Let's see, what else is going on in here? Let's see. Oh yeah, Mother's Day slipped my mind. Yeah. Okay. So you have some stuff to do. And DB Kicks, best sneaker YouTube guy in the state of Virginia, right there, right? He knows a thing or two. And he's like, because talking about like what you want to do, you know, sometimes your interests change, right? So you take like any band that you probably listen to for like an extended period of time, their first album and like 6 albums later, probably a little bit different, right? There's some things you can recognize, like Rise Against, you can still hear that signature guitar sound, like same with like NoFX and stuff like that. But then you have bands like Offspring, things that think they mature, they kind of do what they do from a slightly different direction. So that's what like DB Kicks was talking about not too long ago, was saying, okay, I am really into doing this. Like I enjoy this part of this more. I think I'm going to start doing more of these, maybe cut back on these, but not cut them out, right? Which makes perfect sense because at the end of the day, what you're doing here is your time. Like use it how you see fit. You know what I'm saying? So, and especially if you see that like your fan base is on board with that, yeah, go for it. Like my fan base, well, I say that, but I feel like I've got like a small fan base, and I say that as people who are like regularly coming around. And then there's like a whole bunch of just random people that pass by. And those random people is because I do a lot of random reviews. So I think that's where that comes in. But I think like the regular people that come by here, I think they just like to see whatever I'm talking about, and I appreciate that, right? Because I know, and from the comments where people say that they're watching stuff that they don't have any interest in it. And I'll do the same. I'll watch a video that I have no interest in. Like, I know I'm not going to buy whatever you're talking about, but you're an all right person and I'm going to watch it. Let's see. Yeah, I got premium, no idea. Exactly. Like, I didn't, for years, I didn't even know YouTube had ads. So how does that work during lives? For the ad breaks, well, you can, after your video is done, after your live session is done, you can put ad breaks in wherever you want. But as the video is going on, you can turn them on so that when people show up to the live, they see an ad. But obviously, like, that's all you can do because you don't know how long it's going to go or whatever. You might sit down and go for 30 minutes. It might turn into, what's this, 2 hours, right? You don't know. So if you want ads in your videos, ads in your lives, you can turn them on, right? So that people see them when they first arrive. But when you hit end broadcast, then you got to go back to YouTube and put those ad breaks where you want them. So, I mean, otherwise you can like sit there and you can throw little like Cash App things scrolling across the screen or whatever. For me, nobody saw ads on this video because I turned ads off on like most of my lives, right? I think, yeah, because like the last couple that I had, I didn't turn it on because I wanted people to just be able to just jump right in and just see whatever's going on without, the hassle, right? So again, people like Sean, I try to be nice. It does nothing for him. So there's that. But I'm doing my part. Also, some people have noticed that when I make my reviews sometimes, like in my like close circle or whatever they call it on Instagram, I'll share like an early link to the video without the ads. So then people that are following me over there, they can watch it, without the ads as well. Some people do, some people don't, I just put it out there. Does the streamer know an ad will run? So, like I said, like, I know I've just covered this already, but you won't know. I mean, you'll know that ads are going to run in the beginning, but you don't know what ads is going to run. Like, and the whole thing about ads is like, they're not the same for everybody. So just because I have ads turned on a video, even if you don't have YouTube Premium, you might still not see the ad, right? Because it's just kind of random in some ways. And so even with like the payout for it, like there's 5 people in here right now. If all 5 people went and watched they all went and watched my, what is this called? Foam runner review, right? I'm going to have, the ads are going to be in the same place for all of them. And let's say none of them have YouTube Premium. Like those 3 ad breaks I talked about, and the ones that come in the very beginning or maybe at the end after the video, some people will see all of them. Some people will see a few of them. Some people might not see any. I don't know. And even then, what ad is shown, like if 3 of those 5 people see the ad before the on feed, one might get like a skippable ad and one might be not skippable. One might see something and then who knows, they might even click on the ad or something. So what you see out of that isn't going to be the same. So the YouTube payoff thing is, they do some weird YouTube math, and I just accept that I make some amount of money, and I'm fine with that because I'm already buying these shoes. I'm not buying anything for reviews because that's crazy to me. So whatever they want to throw my way is more than nothing, and that makes it fine. Let's see. You see? But yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's why the people that are doing it are doing it, because they got that interest. Yeah, it will be a delay. You know how it is when voting in a battle. Oh yeah, that whole thing. I'll check you out, DB Kicks. You haven't checked them out? Like, sometimes I'm surprised when like certain people don't know each other. I think Amazon's trying to deliver. That'll have to happen later. But yeah, it's because like I feel like it's like when I saw, like, so the other day, for the people who are wrestling fans, CM Punk and formerly known as Goldust had a wrestling match, right? And it was like the first time they've ever wrestled each other. And it's like, how? Like, they worked in the same place for like 10 years. And they've also just been wrestlers for so much longer than that. You would think that they would have crossed paths at some point, but no, they haven't. So seeing Vlogging with Demetrius, not knowing who DB Kicks is, it's like, oh wait, did I? Okay, I'm like, oh, it's a little surprising to me, you know. But as small of a world as this YouTube thing can be, there's still a large amount of separation between some people, right? You just don't cross paths with some people. So it is what it is, though. I'm also still trying to find my little lane. Yeah, see, so I guess neither of them have seen each other, but somehow they both know me, right? And I honestly, like, and thinking back, I'm gonna say that I know DB Kicks from Bobby Sneaker World. Does that sound right, DB? Like, I feel like like, when I got into watching like smaller level people like myself, I feel like I was just kind of like jumping around and like people would talk up somebody, so then I'd go watch some of their stuff. I feel like from Bobby Sneaker World to DB Kicks is how I made that jump. Vlogging with Demetrius, I have no idea where he came from. Like, I'm trying to think, and I think he might have just showed up in a live one day. Man, like, and I'm not trying to sound bad or anything. I'm just trying to think, like, how did I meet him? But yeah, and there's other people the same way, like the Sneaker Hearts guys that made these pictures and stuff. Like, I don't remember how that came to be either, but like, we're good friends now. Just sent him an Intercontinental title the other day. So yeah, you meet a lot of cool people, and you may not remember how you met them. That's one thing to take from that, I guess. But okay, he says, yeah, it was Bobby. But no, that's the benefit of. And that's the other thing. Like when I do have people on the lives and stuff, another reason that when I'll like actually promote those is to get people in front of other people, right? So if I have like a live and there's like 3 people in there, that's not going to guarantee that all 3 of those people like meet somebody new or that they're exposed to somebody new. But there's always the possibility, right? And all it takes is for like that one person to watch your video and be like, oh, I'll check out this DB Kicks guy. Why not, right? And then who knows? Like, maybe that person recommends it and then like a few more people jump in. You never know where it's going to stop or whatever. Let's see. Here we go. The origin story. Yep, showed up on a random live when I first started YouTube. Then I started joining. Okay. Because like I was feeling like you were in a video for some reason. I remember you were in one of my sneaker battles, like as like a judge or something. And I think that was around when I was still kind of new to you. You know, I don't think I'd known you that long. But yeah, I don't know. And it's weird because like I hit my 3-year mark this past January, which in some ways feels like forever, but in some ways doesn't. So it's like trying to think back to when I met people. It's like, I haven't been doing this that long, have I? Right? And then you start to think back and you're like, man, like you start to see people talking about old shoes and you're like, man, I did a review of that. I remember when those came out. Like when I started, I had no idea how long I would do it or if I would really stick around, but sure enough, here I am. 3 and almost half. What is it? Yeah, I guess 3.5 years later, something like that. Still rambling about Adidas shoes. Like, it's funny. Like, that was my first thing was an Adidas shoe. People think you got to start off with like all the hyped up things and all the stuff that's super sought after. I disagree. Let's see. So you used to be able to do that. I don't know if you're saying that because you remember that time, but it was probably like, wow, at this point it's been a while, because I'd say maybe like mid 2020, I feel like, is when they stopped that for some reason. You used to be able to just click on somebody and then you got the link, or one of the options was like go to channel, and then you could just look at them that way, right? But some of these people like can just post their links and stuff, I think. Let's see. Me and Mr. KZ started joining your lives around. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty cool dude too. Need to get him back on one of these videos, because I like to have lives with people, but I also like to do these solo ones where I just like do whatever, talk about some stuff, answer some questions, interact with some people. Oh, Bullet Club Day is tomorrow. Bang bang. So I'll probably be buying some shirts, wrestling shirts that I don't need. But yeah, I like having lives with people because it is cool, right? Sit back and just kind of have that dynamic, right? It's nice to have those conversations. You never know where they're going to go or whatever. But it's also good to be able to pull a live off by yourself too, right? And be able to sustain that life. Because I think from early on, like I remember when I first started doing them, I was like, man, I shouldn't do these because I don't have any followers. Like who's gonna watch me talk about anything, And now it's like I'll throw one up there with no problem because somebody is gonna stop in, right? It may not be a bunch of people, which is kind of ideal because it's easier to keep up when it's just like a few people. But I'm totally on board with like the small lives. The big ones, I like to have like a large turnout when it's like a sneaker battle or something, because then everybody can like share in the entertainment or something, kind of helps keep things going. But it also keeps the votes interesting, because like there's more of them. But times like this, it's really just me sitting here with this bottle of water that I always have in case my throat gets dry. I never drink, talking about stuff. But I believe we've covered just about everything. So probably going to start getting things wrapped up here now that I'm at the 2-hour mark. I just wanted to sit down and go over, which was the main point, was wearing the shoes that you buy, because dead stock collections are stupid, in my opinion. Do what you want to do with your money. But I believe that if you're going to go out of your way to buy something, and then, that, which essentially makes it one less person out there that can have that something, wear it, make some use of it. Again, it's your money, do whatever, sure. But that's just how I feel. So that's why I take every so often and I set aside some time to only wear shoes that I haven't worn, which is what I did for April. So now my collection of shoes that are untouched is about 18 fewer, I think. Though I probably bought about that many in the last quarter, so it kind of just broke even. So, but I'll do that again sometime. I just got to start looking around and see what I have that hasn't been worn, really, because sometimes you just forget stuff. When you have enough things, it happens, right? But anyways, so I'm gonna get this thing closed up. While I'm closing this thing up, if anybody has any last minute questions or whatever, throw them in the chat thing. I'll address them as I often do. But for now, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I will eventually be back with a review of this here foam runner and also this one, because, if it's only one shoe, it's only half the review. And I'll also be knocking out a review on some Jordan 7 Sapphires, named after the Pokemon game, I believe. So that'll be happening at some point as well. I also got a box in from Dizygotic. I don't even know if I said that right, but it's something like that, which is probably the most, it's definitely the most expensive non-Yeezy shoe that I've ever bought, but I'm looking forward to it. So I've got those 3 things coming around. I'm in no rush to get them out because, why bother, right? They'll get out there when they get out there. None of this stuff is new to anybody, so it's not like it needs to inform the public. But, you just take it at your leisure and put it out when you can put it out. So let's see. But that's it for me. Like I said, I'll hit these last things, then we'll part ways. Let's see, Nike wanted 200 for those 7s. I love 7s, but that's crazy. It is crazy. I let it slide. I let it slide against my better judgment. Well, backing up about that. So my judgment as of, say, 2016, 17 was when you see a shoe like that, you wait, right? Because in 2016, 2017, you could do that. A 7 would come out, like those blue 7s or those pure platinum 7s or whatever. Yeah, they're not bad, but they're not going to fly off shelves. Give it like 2-3 months, you're saving like what, $50-$60, and that's just like this straight in-store markdown. You have a coupon or something, you're saving a couple more, maybe another 20. You're walking away with one of those for like $100. Then it's not so bad, right? Nowadays, it's like if it's a Jordan shoe, period, outside of those neon 4s, remember those like last year or something? Nobody wanted those. But yeah, if it's like a Jordan shoe, like you buy it now for retail or you buy it later for above retail. Those are your options, right? And even with those 7s, even if you find somebody selling them on like StockX for say 180, you're still probably paying more when everything's said and done because of like StockX fees and such. So you may as well just buy them at the normal price and just, do it that way. Maybe eBay is better. I guess that's an option as well, but you know what I'm getting at. And yeah, so because when I saw them sitting, I was like, okay, so I didn't really win this draw, did I? I just bought shoes. They try to make you feel good about yourself. Yeah, mids and lows sell out. Yeah, I mean dunks still do pretty well for themselves as well and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a weird time to like buy stuff because it's like because of when I got into this, and probably the same with a lot of you, I was able to just look at things that had just come up or just come out or whatever. And it's like, okay, this looks all right, but let me go to Foot Locker this weekend and see how I truly feel about it. And so I could do that, Now, not so much. And even back then, sure, there were still certain things that, like, if you didn't win the raffle, that was kind of it, because some things were just popular, right? But even still, like, I would see like the random size sitting here and there, like the Crimson Tint ones. That was an online sellout, but it was an in-store sitter in certain cities, right? Not all, not across the United States and whatnot, but still. And he said, pay $310 for the, oh, wow. Like, weren't those not as, I don't know, limited, so to speak, as people expected them to be? Because I say that because, like, I don't always know how to judge it, but like I feel like I saw a lot of them in my Instagram feed. Because sometimes that's the case, like there are times when like I'll see like a popular release and then it'll be like a couple people here and there, but mostly people talking about how like the checkout crashed or like the lines weren't moving or the websites wouldn't load or, transactions denied, things like that. So I never really know how to feel about stuff, but I feel like a lot of people got those. I didn't see a lot of heartache, right? Meaning like people saying they missed out. And so that's the other piece of it. The fewer amount of people saying, oh man, I really wanted to get these and it didn't happen. That says a lot too, right? So it also makes me think that everybody that wanted them, for the most part, got them. And the people that didn't care too much. Let's see, it was $276, then in-store release pairs with fees. Oh man, that's crazy though. But yeah, sometimes I get the price point, like the shoes that I was talking about, those Digigotics. I don't know. I have no idea how to pronounce that, and I'm gonna mess it up in the video. I'm sure of it. But those were $267 altogether. But it was also like it's a smaller brand. They put a lot of work into like making it. The presentation looks pretty cool from what I've heard and seen. So I get where that comes from. But there's other companies where it's like this this isn't $90 worth of material or anything. Nothing about this screams $90 other than the invoice, right? Same with, wait, how much is the Yeezy slide? Was this 90 also? I feel like it was around that same price. I don't know. But then I look at these consortium Hanons, man, that I feel like was worth the price. Let's see. A lot of people definitely skip the in-store stuff and only look online if you have access to physical stores. Yeah. Yeah, that is true, right? Like I tell you, like when I was living near El Paso, that's where I did a lot of my shopping from 2016 through the end of 18. And yeah, I was always getting stuff out of there, and they were always having sales because like stuff was always coming in on time, you know, back in the good old days, you know, BC, if you will. But now things are just like awkward. Like foot action closed. I'm still not okay with that. You know, I'm still coming to terms with it. You know, it's a tough loss for me. Like, 'cause foot action was like my store. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but my first pair of Air Maxes, I am pretty sure they came from a foot action. I'm like very sure. There's a small possibility that it was a Finish Line, but I'm leaning towards foot action. And that pair, which is right here, the Air Max 360, is what spawned all of this, right? And for years, I just shopped at foot action mostly. So seeing it go away, it's like, man, it's like kind of sucks, right? And yeah, I know after the fact. Okay, 55. Okay, cool. That's not as bad. Because I know, was this something? Okay, yeah. I must have just been thinking about just these then. So that's not terrible then. Still a little overpriced, especially when you can get a pair of these Aqua Adilet slides for like 30. These, like, in a lot of ways, like this is one of my favorite things. Like these Aqua slides, which is why I ended up buying like the Aqua ZX 8000 and the Aqua Ultra Boost, which is based off of these as well. See, it's got like the thing down there on the sole. These, from a visual standpoint, probably like my favorite slide. And they're like, they got this, I really just like these, you know? I'm not going to talk them up like they're something you need to have, but man, do I like them, right? And I got a decent number of slides, but these, after this month or after last month of wearing only these, and after the previous month of wearing only the Air Max 90 slides, this was the first pair that I put on. So take that for what it's worth. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, man? Adolescent. Yeah, right. These things, and they're always on sale, right? They're comfortable. They're disposable in the sense that, like, they're often like 2 for 30. So you just buy a bunch of them. Buy them in all the colors. If they get messed up, throw them on out. Buy some new ones. It's fine. They're cheap, you know? I haven't done a slide review in forever, have I? Well, I guess those soot ones, but something like a normal slide review that your average person would actually like wear, you know, not just trying to like look cool for people that don't know them. That's how I feel about Yeezy slides and the people that wear them in public. If anybody in this chat wears them in public, don't take it to heart. That's, yeah, right. See, he knows. Where are these random people coming from now? Need to know, man, what is the worst Yeezy model to you? Oh, boy. Speaking on a visual, because I've never seen... Oh, wait. What's that boot-looking one? I was about to say the 700 V3. Is it the 500 that's a boot sort of looking thing? Or is... Wait. No, the 500 looks like a weird ground alien. Some sort of ground, like, underdwelling monster. So that's ugly. It's just awful. And all the colors are terrible. But that boot thing, There's some kind of Yeezy boot. I've seen it. I don't know what it's called. Is it this 700? No, 750? There's a 750, right? Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. It's got no visually redeeming qualities about it. So I guess that, followed by that 500. I think it's 500. It's just god awful. San Antonio? I'm guessing you're from there? Or are you just shouting out places? Tallahassee! Let's all shout out cities. I've been a subscriber for a while, never joined till now. Hey, I appreciate it, There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people, lives aren't their thing, For a long time, I was one of those people, I'm not watching a live. Like, for what? I will still say that I don't watch, like, lives after they're done. Like, I've done that maybe like 2 or 3 times for very specific reasons. But because I feel like if you're not there in the moment, you missed out, right? And so that's why I don't really push mine a whole lot. I'll tell people like, hey man, we had a good time doing the sneaker battle thing. That's one that maybe you can watch again. But like a live session like this, especially like if I was scrolling through and I'm like 2.5 hours about how deadstock shoes are stupid, like how do you stress that out? I'm not watching this. All right. But if you actually did watch it, you'd see we talked about that for a while, went through some YouTube analytics things, talked about YouTube life, meeting people. There's a lot of ground covered, but I still feel like you lose the interactive side of it because you can't like interact, right? So it's like, why, right? Let's see. Easy 500 high is a boot. Okay, and there's that weird. Oh yeah, that basketball thing is ugly also. Yeah, most Yeezys don't look good is the thing to say there because per capita, they're just not good. Like honestly, like even the 350, like there's a 350. I'm not digging that thing out again. The 350, I have a bunch of them because they're comfortable and I like having varieties of comfortable shoes. It's still visually unappealing, right? Some colors make it an easier pill to swallow, but it's still a jagged little pill. So I don't care a whole lot for the visual of it. Yeah, there have been very few, and even there was a 350 that I thought or a 700 something or other that I thought I kind of liked. Then I saw it in person the other day, I think, and I was like, oh, that's not good. So yeah, Yeezys get by on the name. Yeah, okay, that's about all I have to say about that. I was gonna say something else, but then I realized like that sums it up. Yeezys get by on the name. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes I say stuff and then like instantly forget it as soon as it's said. Because like people will, which is funny because like sometimes people will comment on videos like somebody responded to something I said in a video like over a year later. And I was like, what? And like, you said blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you expect me to remember all this stuff? Like, just because you watched it today doesn't mean it was uploaded today and that I made it like 2 minutes ago. Come on, man, give me some slack here. But yeah, I talk a lot. Can't remember it all. Let's see, Quantum Basketball. Yeah, those are also awful. I actually enjoy your Adidas reviews. I feel like your take on shoes are refreshing. I appreciate that. I've heard that from some people, which makes me wonder, like, because I don't watch a lot of review people. I watch like 5, right? And they're all like people on my level. So I don't know what other reviews are like the popular people reviews, like that are flooding the market, if you will, like the ones that are reviewing this shoe like a month ago. Like I don't know what their videos are like or whatever, But people seem to say that what I do, and probably like what a lot of other people on my level do, is maybe they just relate more to normal everyday people that aren't out there like flaunting large amounts of money and talking about like all the shoes that they bought early so they can get reviews out there and all this, and their little sponsor affiliates. I got an email from NordVPN the other day asking if I wanted to join their affiliate program. It's like, No, not really. I'm a private internet access guy, and maybe if it was ExpressVPN, I like those guys. That's a good one. Or it'd probably honestly be my suggestion if anybody was asking about a VPN to use. But yeah, I was like, it's cool to be asked, right? Everybody wants to be invited to the party, right? But who's going to show up? Not this guy. At least not to that party. Another party, perhaps, but not that one. But yeah, so I try to give some kind of take on things that is normal. I don't want to sell anybody on anything. That's also going along with that affiliate thing. I don't want to try to sell anybody on anything, right? I want to sit here and talk about stuff as if I was like a normal casual consumer and someone just showed me a picture of something and said, what do you think about this? Because like I like 12s a lot. I'll talk down on them if they're terrible though, right? And lose no sleep over it. Somebody said something in one of my Yeezy videos like, oh man, you're always talking down on these Yeezys. They're hard to get and stuff and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't care how hard they get. I don't care about the guy behind them. If it has a weird look, it has a weird look. And I'm going to talk about that because it's weird to me, right? And give my opinion however it may be. And sometimes I like stuff, sometimes I don't. And so I feel like doing that and being like honest with people to the point to where they can hopefully tell that I'm speaking honestly. I think that does help a good amount because I see some people and they talk about stuff like they're just almost as if they're trying to sell themselves on the fact that they spent a bunch of money on it. Like, yo, man, I tried to tell you these are going to be dope in hand, and now here they are, super dope in hand. And I'm like, you don't even like those, do you? You're just trying to get me to spend $500. I'm not doing it, right? That's how I feel a lot of the time, honestly. See, Sean knows. He knows about that. Let's see. Yeah, it's not the worst. Like, I was just like, they have a bit of a reputation, bit of a weird reputation for some of the things that they've been doing lately and stuff. So there's that. Not like security wise, but just like their tactics to get their name out there. And so I'm like, I'm kind of good on that. But if it was something that I could get behind, again, like if it was one of the brands that I talked about already, yeah, like I'd be like, you know what? Sure. I'd at least consider it. But there'd still be the fact that I just feel weird about talking about something in a way to sell people on it. Because I don't like doing that. Because I just want to give you some stuff to work with, and then you can go and you can like make your decision on if you want to spend your money on it. So it's maybe that's just me. What about you guys? How do you feel about sponsorship thing? Do you care to hear people talk about all that stuff all the time? Because like I listen to a lot of Jim Cornette videos, and his plugs for his advertisements and sponsors are entertaining because if you've ever listened to the guy, he's unintentionally funny in some ways, but it's just the way he describes things and the way he segues in and out of it. It's entertaining, right? So I'll sit there and I'll listen to his like Manscaped ads or his Seed ads or what's that other thing, Magic Spoon, right? I'll listen to it because it's funny, right? But I feel like me sitting here talking about VPN things, for one, it's mildly out of place, other than like, I do have a personal interest in maintaining a subscription. I feel like this isn't the channel for that. It just wouldn't really make sense. Like I know people obviously know what it is, but yeah, it just seems like I'm not the best candidate compared to some like yeah, Justin. All right. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I could also seek out somebody, but I feel like I sit here, I talk about the stuff that I need to talk about and some stuff that isn't relevant, and that's enough, right? I don't want to have to, I guess I don't want to have to do anything either. Once something becomes mandatory, then you kind of have less interest in it, right? Maybe some of you can relate to something like that. Let's see. I accept that people need to pay bills, and I generally just skip past the sponsorship. But yeah, I totally get it, right? Like but to me, it's like I don't need to. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't need to pay for this stuff, like, because I pay for it. It's not like given to me by Adidas or Nike or whatever. But I'm content with just using the, you know, the money that doesn't have to go to bills from my actual job to buy shoes, right? I'm not gonna like annoy people out there just so they can, just so I can not have to spend as much or whatever. Like, I'd rather just let the people have like a somewhat better viewing and listening experience. Let's see, sponsorship to me, annoying. Every time I hear that word in the video, I'll skip 2-3 minutes, whatever the timestamp goes up to. Fair enough. And that, again, I have timestamps in my videos, yeah, right? So yeah, I'm a huge advocate for skipping past things because I know that some people they don't care about where I bought these things and whatever. They want to skip to the main part of the video. I get it, right? The way I see it is the more people that as people like subscribe, if they do subscribe or whatever, which doesn't matter because the videos can still be watched either way. If people keep coming back and like they keep seeing these videos and eventually they'll probably start watching more and more of them, because maybe they'll stop skipping so far ahead. Maybe they'll actually start watching more. It doesn't matter regardless, honestly. Like, a view is a view. If it gets through to them, they'll leave some sort of comment saying something perhaps, or they'll show up again. That's really all that matters, is that even if I don't see it, even if there's no tangible thing to tie to it, as long as every video I do gets through to somebody and gives them something that they needed out of it, that thing is a success. Let's see. Below those ads, they slide in. I have YouTube Premium to not have ads. I get it. Yeah. And for the people that I've asked in the past, because I asked in a video once, just saying like, hey, if you see an ad during this, like, let me know what the ad is about. And it was just some like off the wall stuff, like not even related to what I was doing. But ads get slipped in because shoes are a thing that sell, right? So people buy the advertisement space for it, except for was it January? January. Ad money in January was freaking terrible, right? Again, it doesn't matter. It's just like in December, the ad people were buying up ads, like spending a lot of money on it. So I made a decent amount, and just for my December views, January like tanked, right? Like, I was active making videos in January and just barely made less money than I made in February, and I didn't put any videos up in February. So yeah, think about that for a second, right? I think it's back to like a somewhat normalish thing. I think I'm back to my normal like $6 to $7 a day, something like that. I think that's about what I make for YouTube stuff on a normal month, right? Every now and then there might be like a weird spike or a weird dip, but usually it's right around that 6 to 7 a day, in case anybody's curious. 6 to 7, not 67. Just make sure I was clear about that. I think the ads people see are based on the information. Yeah, that makes sense too, because like I said, like the location and all that. So that's definitely going to play a role in it, which I think is why some people will use those ad-free browsers, which you saw in like my YouTube analytics thing, because somebody at work was talking about one of them. Oh, that's what that thing is. I think like DuckDuckGo is one of those that doesn't track you or doesn't show ads, maybe both. So if you watch through that, the ads you see, if it does that in fact show ads, are just going to be random things that it chooses to show. The effort doesn't go unseen that you do. I do like the organization. It skips the box tag, for example. If I remember how it was, I don't skip much. I just listen. Oh, appreciate that. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I know that it can be useful to some people, right? So I put it in there. It's a small thing. Like, they're asking for like 5 seconds, right? So it's there. They can see what the tags looks like, so they can also, when I can, and I don't draw attention to it, but I try to get like pictures like the tag in the shoe as well. when I'm showing like the inside, because I feel like that's important, because some people do watch videos just so they can kind of like look at it and compare what they see to the one that they bought, and they aren't like completely sure if it's like real or not. So I feel like having some extra pictures in there might help ease their minds just a little bit. So we'll see. Because I've had some people say like, yeah, this helped me because I was wondering if my pair like is the only pair that has this thing in here, and I see yours does too. Like, all right, cool, good, fantastic, have a nice day. And then other people just ask a lot of weird questions. Says, I like all the tags. Okay, cool, yeah. So real quick question before I get out of here then. Are there things that you don't like about the videos, like, or things that should be in them that aren't? Because people often tell me the things that they like, which is nice. And I know that there are things that I could do to improve, right? And everybody could, right? It's just, what are those things in the eyes of the people that are actually watching the stuff? So I like to put that question out there once in a while, just to see like, what do people think? Like, you know, is there, because we had the discussion last time about like other types of videos that I could do, and I was on board with it. It's just like doing them is like the hard part, like having more discussion things and like getting other people involved, because there was a thing about like wrestlers and stuff, which I would totally like to do, but and maybe I can work that out one day, you know. Just, it's probably, I'm starting to see that a lot of those guys are just like normal people and are open to it. It's just, you know, I gotta have that conversation, and that's where it gets weird, because I always feel like, who am I to ask this person to give me an hour of their free time, right? Like, what makes me think I deserve to do that? So there's that. But yeah, like on a serious note, like, what, if anything, do you guys have to say about like what you don't like or think would be something to implement into these videos and whatnot? Because I know, like I said, I know like the sound can be not ideal, right? I usually just bump it up in Premiere, right, when I'm doing all my stuff. So that way, because I sit far from the camera, which you guys have noticed, which is where the pictures come in. So there's that. And I consider getting like one of those little microphone things you can wear. But I also have one more earphones, which are like really good. So I thought about maybe just trying like recording a test video and using those or something. But at the same time, nobody has complained except for like some of the earlier ones when like the audio was just like really low. So maybe that's like not a problem to people. I don't know. Let's see. I think your content is fine as is for shoe reviews anyway. All right, yeah, and that's like the main thing people watch. So your setup is cool. Like I said earlier, don't buy anything. For example, Asics yet, and ask you questions way back. Dude. All right, appreciate that. And yeah, and I've seen some, right? And I get it. You know, everybody's got their take on things. I just, like I said, I sometimes hate making the reviews to some extent, because I know how much I had to put into it to make one happen. But it's very reassuring to know that once I put something out there, it's got some pretty good quality to it. And I couldn't tell you how many times I've uploaded a video and was all ready to go, and then realized like that picture isn't in there. Like maybe I left out a picture or something, or I forgot to like add in a little annotation to like cover something that I meant to say in the video. Then I had to delete it, jump back into Premiere, add in whatever it was I needed to add in, re-encode, re-upload. Luckily, I built a new computer earlier in the year, so like the encoding time is crazy. It's like insanely good now. Or the encoding is good. My upload is still, but yeah. So I've definitely done some last minute rework. It sucks, but you know, again, even though I don't watch these videos, it's like that one little bit of information might save me from answering a question, right? Let's see. I think you do pretty well. Good info on quality and size. And you often use chapters, so the small talk stuff. Yeah, it is. Like, because I know it's not for everybody, right? Let's see. Also, I'm from other channels you do visit, so I like to support their channels too. So I appreciate that. And that's the thing, like, because I know I believe I met you, unless there's another Sean from like the DJ Dell's channel. And so I know like there's a lot of people out there, and man, I haven't been over to his in a while because again, like when I took my break from YouTube when I was getting back into it, the thing that I cut out so I could catch back up was the lives, because I was like, okay, those take up a lot of my time of just watching and stuff. So I'll just hold off on those until I get these reviews knocked out and all this stuff. And now I've got things back to like a good spot. So I'll probably have to start showing up to his things again now that I actually have some time. Okay, cool. Just making sure, because like I know there's Sean isn't like an uncommon name, but like I'm very sure you're the only person that I've seen with that only as their username, But yeah, so I have to start jumping back in there and stuff, and other people too, not just him. Like I think I watched like 2 lives in the last like month or something. Let's see. That's another thing. You have same size. Okay. Oh, speaking of that, that reminds me. So because I don't like, I have a lot of stuff that, and I feel like I'm good on a lot of things. So what I might start doing to some extent is like, and again, I know I said I'm not going to buy shoes just for the sake of reviewing, but sometimes I am interested in seeing things up close for myself. So I might like buy a pair of shoes, do the review, maybe like wear it a couple times just to kind of see how I feel about it, and then sell it as like used on eBay, because technically it will be used, even though it will be like barely used, because if you know me, like I'll probably just wear it to the gym and that'll be it. But then I'll probably just put it on eBay or something. So I'm looking at like starting to do that, just because every now and then, like I'll see something, like I've seen some Asics, some Gel Lyte 3s that I like to look at up close and see what they're all about. But I don't want to buy them because I have like a lot of them already. So I'm thinking I might start doing that with certain things. So if you happen to wear the same size as me, you might be in for a treat, So there's something to think about. And given that they'll be on eBay and being sold under used, they probably won't get a whole lot of money. So you'll probably be able to buy some basically new shoes for like a pretty low price. So you got that. Let's see. If I'm being honest, I only watch videos I'm interested in. Fully support that, by the way. Mostly your Air Max content, but that's just hey, dude, like that is completely fine. Like I make a lot of stuff. Not everything's for everybody. I mean, you may not even want to watch every Air Max video. Like it doesn't matter, right? Somebody will watch them. Don't feel obligated. Just whatever time you have and whatever you think is worth that time, watch that. I'm cool with it. Like if it makes you feel any better, I don't watch any of the videos. So you're doing better than I am. Let's see, but the content in the videos, hey, that's fine enough then. Well, for me, I sit in front of the computer at work and face roll the keyboard. So I just okay. Yeah. I can understand that. So, but if I can help you pass the time just a little bit, give you some background noise, because like I said before, like I'll watch a live sometimes and it'll just be like background noise in a way where it's like I'm listening to the conversation and all that stuff, because I don't want to watch a TV show maybe because maybe there's nothing on, but that's something I can watch and just hear people talk about stuff. Speaking of which, Monday Midsole is probably on. I don't know what time they do things, but might try to catch some of that if that is. But yeah, so much like it didn't really Ignacio said about heading out, I'm about to do that as well. But thank you again for everybody that came in and all that good stuff. Nice to know what people think and all that. And I don't know the next time I'll be doing one of these lives, but if you have any ideas or whatever, if you have any ideas for like lives or something, you can leave them in the comments, but you may not have time before I hit end. So you can just comment on the actual live thing or something, and we can, talk about that later or something. Because I do like to be able to just sit back and just speak about whatever, right? Even if it is how I don't like dead stock shoe collections. But hey, whatever. Again, thanks everybody. I super appreciate you giving me any amount of time that you were able to give me, because there's a lot of other stuff you could be doing, maybe stuff you should be doing. But hey, you were here doing this, and I appreciate it. I'll see you guys at some other point. Later, people.